Out adding revenue to your home or business? Just go to incomestore.com. That's incomestore.com.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
Iran adds to the tension. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, with a nuclear announcement related to that deal President Trump pulled the U.S. out of last year, leading to new economic sanctions on Iran.
The spokesman for Iran's atomic agency says they will exceed the uranium stockpile limit set by the Iran nuclear deal in the next 10 days. According to Iranian state TV, this Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says that the U.S. does not want war with Iran, but are considering a full range of options, vowing to protect and guarantee safe navigation through the world's most important passageway, the Strait of Hormuz.
Fox's Griff Jenkins. Pompeo blames Iran for last week's attacks on 2 oil tankers, though European foreign ministers say they're still investigating and urging maximum restraint. President Trump will kick off his re-election campaign with a rally tomorrow in Orlando, Florida, while a growing number of Democrats call for his impeachment. The president maintains there was no collusion with Russia, and he did not obstruct justice, telling ABC News he didn't want to fire the special counsel.
I wasn't going to fire. You know why? Because I watched Richard Nixon go around firing everybody, and that didn't work out too well.
Making reference to Watergate. In a Fox News poll, 43% of those surveyed want him impeached and removed from office. 48% do not. The poll also gives Joe Biden a big lead in the Democratic race for president. The former vice president at 32%, Bernie Sanders far back at 13%.
I am beating President Trump fairly decisively, which is consistent with all of the polling that I have seen.
Sanders referring to a head-to-head poll with the president. Elizabeth Warren at 9% in the new poll. Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg 8%. A graduation party turned into a nightmare in Philadelphia last night.
At least one individual came up. We don't know if it was in a car or on foot. And fired multiple rounds.
Police Chief Richard Ross Jr., an adult was shot dead, 7 others injured. No motive known, no arrest made. This is Fox News.
Skies are mostly cloudy. We've had a few drops of rain overnight, nothing substantial, and some areas of morning fog will crop up throughout the day, especially in the early morning hours. It's 5:02 on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 53 degrees right now. Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson remains hospitalized after doctors found a small blood clot in his lung during routine testing. A department spokesman says Johnson was still in the hospital last night after being admitted on Friday afternoon. On Friday, police say the superintendent was hospitalized at Rush University Medical Center for observation after the blood clot was discovered during a stress test done normally as Johnson approaches a 2-year anniversary of his kidney transplant. Chicago Police Department remembering fathers who died in the line of duty. CPD Chaplain Father Dan Brandt spoke at the Father's Day Mass yesterday at the Gold Star Families Memorial and Park.
Through the mercy of God, rest in peace.
Memorial paying tribute to all city police officers who died in the line of duty since 4 dads were lost in the line of duty this past year, including Commander Paul Bauer and officers Conrad Gary, Sam Jimenez, and Edward Marmoleo. Bail denied for a Chicago man accused of attacking a man he met on a dating app and then using bear spray on police. Cedric Johnson appeared in court yesterday afternoon on numerous felony charges, including aggravated battery, theft, and possession. Prosecutors say Johnson had sex with a professor who teaches at a local university after meeting him on the dating app Grindr on Friday. Afterwards, the pair began to argue before the suspect hit the victim multiple times, taking off with an iPhone and Bose speakers. The attacker later sprayed bear repellent at police officers who arrested him after a chase on the street. Number of Aqua Illinois customers in the south suburbs are being warned again to avoid consuming tap water because of elevated lead levels. The utility company issued a do not consume water advisory for customers in University Park, Green Gardens, and Modine Township and their water systems. Aqua provided an update yesterday saying it's now safe to consume water at arbors at Hickory Creek, Fairway Club Estates, Pine Woods Court, and Governors State University. A priest is being reinstated to his church on Chicago's North Side after he was accused of sexually abusing a minor nearly 40 years ago. The Reverend Patrick Lee was removed as pastor of Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church in January as officials investigated an abuse allegation in 1979, while he was assigned to the St. Christopher Parish in Midlothian. Cardinal Blaise Cupich announced over the weekend Lee was being reinstated, the allegation completely unfounded. A suburban St. Charles man is accused of breaking into a local home and committing a sexual assault last week. Jason Carter was arrested early Friday outside of a home in the 300 block of Illinois. Police say he entered the residence uninvited and sexually assaulted a person sleeping on a couch. A Civil War reenactment at a Northeast Illinois Forest Preserve was back on after the event was temporarily canceled by a lone county official over his questions of its value. Forest Preserve District President Angelo Kyle was forced to change his mind and put Civil War days at the Lakewood Forest Preserve in Wakanda back on the calendar in mid-July. Kyle noting contractual obligations for the event that's been held for 27 years and draws more than 3,000 people. Former Peoria Congressman Aaron Schock not looking to go back to Capitol Hill just yet. Schock's camp quickly put out rumors that he's planning on another run for Congress. Schock recently updated his campaign paperwork, and some news outlets took that as a sign that Schock is definitely running again. You may recall Schock resigned from Congress under a cloud in 2015. Some fans of the restaurant chain Whataburger say they do not want the founders of that chain to sell out to a Chicago-based investor group. The Dobson family announced Friday they're selling their majority stake in the company to BBT Capital Partners to help fund the chain's nationwide expansion. Subsequently, Houston Texans player and Wisconsin native J.J. Watt said in a tweet he wants to help any way he can to buy the chain back and keep it based in Texas. Whataburger has been around since 1950. Alex Verdugo made a game-saving catch. Dodgers held on to beat the Cubs 3-2 at Chavez Ravine. Brett Gardner and Austin Romine each drove in 4 as the Yankees kept the White Sox from taking 3 of 4 with a 10-3 win at guaranteed rate. White Sox right fielder Ryan Cordell says they're a confident team right now.
Split even. I don't know if you say that was great, but we played some good ball games there at the beginning of the series. Unfortunately, things didn't really go our way there in the last 2 ball games, but we feel confident. We're still playing really good ball.
And they better be confident. The Cubs are off today before hosting the crosstown rivals tomorrow night. Sox are set to bring up catcher Zach Collins, the team's top draft pick in the 2016 draft, on his way to Chicago. He has been raking the minor leagues. Gary Woodland is celebrating his first major victory after winning the 119th U.S. Open Sunday at Pebble Beach. Woodland shot a 69 Sunday in the final round, finished 13 under par, holding off 2-time defending champion Brooks Koepka, who finished 10 under. The News is a service of Napa Auto Parts. Right now at Napa Auto Care Centers, when you spend $250 on Napa brake parts, you can get a $75 prepaid Visa card. Quality parts installed by the pros. That's Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Care Centers, exclusions apply. Offer ends June 30th. 5:08. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager sees a huge trend that leads to a crumbling society.
4 in 10 American children are now born to unmarried mothers, up from about 5%, that's 1 in 20, in 1960. I would say the majority of people under 40 would respond, so what?
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Your customers rely on hoists and cranes to do the heavy lifting at their companies. But when a hoist fails, your business can come to a halt. You need to be up and running with replacement parts or a new hoist fast. Call Cressel Power at 800-243-5432. ACO Material Handling Solutions has partnered with Cressel Power Equipment to create the fastest electric chain and wire rope hoist delivery in the business through the ACO Rapid Ship program at Cressel Power, keeping you stocked and running. Cressel also has the fastest delivery of genuine ACO replacement parts on the continent. They can deliver ACO lift chain and ACO right wire rope hoists as quick as same day. With Cressel Power, you don't have to stock any parts yourself. They stock thousands of different items and can get them to you the same day or overnight. Knowing the product line and offering technical support will put your mind at ease. Speak to a representative at Cressel Power. Call 800-243-5432. That's 800-243-5432.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare contracts, and in the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. I guarantee if we can't cancel your timeshare contract, you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit, 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. 800-761-0000.
Get your truly free credit scores and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. Download the Credit Karma app now. Credit Karma. Here's to progress.
5:11. Check on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here is Jim Talamonte.
On the north side of Chicago, Broadway is closed between Surf, Wellington. It's due to police activity, investigation of a reported shooting. To the southbound I-57 at 30. Collision with injuries. Allow extra room for responders in that area. The inbound Eisenhower seeing heavy traffic westward into the Burns Circle. There is a new lane configuration, a new roadwork set up there. This is expected to cause some delays this morning. Right now, the ramp to the outbound Rhine is closed. That should be opening shortly. No delays to report on the 8 and Kennedy's fine. Express lanes have not yet opened inbound. No delays on the other expressways and tollways for now. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Some patchy morning fog, otherwise cloudy today, high 66. Clouds tonight and a low 55. For tomorrow, clouds and breaks of sun, a bit warmer, high 78. Clouds and cooler showers on Wednesday with a high 70. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
55 at O'Hare, 55 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I hope everybody had a lovely Toxic Masculinity Awareness Day. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. How did you spend your day, fighting the patriarchy?
Toxic masculinity.
The only funnier headline, that was Babylon Bee. That's a parody site.
Really?
Not a parody, but that's not even really a parody in certain circles. The even funnier headline, or well-wish, not Toxic Masculinity Awareness Day, NARAL, National Abortion Rights, Happy Father's Day to all the pro-choice dads out there. Men for choice, support equality, value bodily autonomy, and that makes you great role models. Yeah, happy Father's Day to all the pro-abort dads out there who don't have kids because they're, pro-abortion. Okay. Sure.
How did you and your hypothetical children celebrate yesterday? Did they kind of leave you alone, let you do it, give you time to yourself? 'Cause
My
that's
dog
what most-
Hayek let me sleep in, although I've
what?
fallen into the trap. I'm not his dad. Okay. He is not the product of my loins. She's my pet. So
Okay.
Just a reminder.
Oh,
your
no,
pets
people don't-
are not your children.
Oh, people don't feel that way.
Well, they
I
can
mean, it's
feel any way they want to feel.
Right, but it's just a fact. Gary Woodland, he won the U.S. Open, don't you know, Pebble Beach yesterday. By 13 under he was?
Yes, he was.
Something amazing. And what he said, because it's Father's Day, obviously, yesterday was, and what he thought about fatherhood and golf.
There's a lot more to life than winning golf tournaments. And I know I have a miracle at home. Even if I would have shot 80 today and lost this tournament by 10 shots, I'm still going to go home to a miracle child who I have the responsibility of making sure that he has a great life. And that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, his young man at home, Jackson, one of twins, but Jackson was the twin who survived, and so
and he was 3
very
pounds.
poignant moment.
Yeah, and he was 3 pounds when he was born, so it was questionable the first few months of his life, but he made it. And they're pregnant. They are pregnant.
No, they're not pregnant.
No,
His
he
wife is
said
pregnant with twins.
twin girls that are going to be due in August.
Yeah.
That's why
His wife is not pregnant with a
they're
canine or a feline,
Right.
and they're not pregnant. A woman is pregnant with a child.
But it's his baby.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Very good. Speaking of Topeka, Kansas, because Gary Woodland went to University of Kansas.
Yeah.
The Topeka, Kansas Police Department offered their own sort of interesting Father's Day wish via Twitter. Does your child's father have warrants? Is he carrying around any drugs? Has he been committing any crimes? Want to give him a Father's Day gift he'll never forget? Call TPD, Topeka Police Department, and we'll help your family make a memory that will last a lifetime. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Dad, can you get the door? The food's arriving. Oh.
Always
It's
on the
not.
job
Put
in
your hands
Topeka.
behind your back. Really? Did that get pushed back from?
They got some online pushback, and they ultimately deleted the tweet. I mean,
Oh.
they do these stings, right? Like dads have outstanding, or just dudes who have outstanding
Right.
warrants, whether they're dads or not, but mostly because they're dads. They do these like fake ticket giveaways and stuff to try to draw them out, bring their kid, and then they take dad away.
I've never heard of that. Really?
Sure. Yeah, it was memorialized on an episode of Law and Order or something. Is that an improper child separation policy in the modern era? I don't know. Did you, by the way, walk along or drive along in a car while your dad played golf to
No,
show
I didn't,
some
no.
respect?
I went to church yesterday. Dad and I are going to see each
That's
other.
an all-day affair?
Yesterday was an all-day affair. No, Dad and I are going to see each other in the golf tournament a week from Monday.
There you go. Tony Dungy.
Oh, I love him.
Great football coach. He had a good piece posted on Fox News. And I love this discussion on Mother's Day or Father's Day, the importance of parents. On and off the field, I saw the critical role a father plays in the development of young people. But for some, the only father figure they have are their coaches. This Father's Day, I want to celebrate all men who are taking that father-type role in the lives of the kids around them. You're making an impact.
Yep.
Each child deserves to have a dad in their life, writes Dungy, someone to serve as a mentor, a role model, confidant, and more. From my life, being a father to my kids, biological, adoptive, fostered, and even the men I coach, is the biggest accomplishment and the best job. It takes time and dedication, but it's worth it. It's a nice piece, very good. But these discussions about mom and dad, everybody knows this about the importance of dads. Everybody knows this about the importance of moms on Mother's Day. Everybody knows this about mom and dad raising a family together. And then we get back to our politics and our culture, and we dispense with all of those platitudes that we offer each other on Mother's Day and Father's Day, don't we? We shrug our shoulders, if not openly advocate against a child's right to mom and dad, don't we? That's what the redefinition of marriage is. You're opposing a child's natural right to his mother and father, her mother, father. So, Father's Day, everybody exchange the Hallmark cards. Dad, yay dads. Mother's Day, yay moms. Yay nuclear family. And then once the cards are exchanged and you've done your pro forma brunch, then we all go back to just shrugging our shoulders, if not openly celebrating a culture that runs afoul of everything you say on Father's Day and Mother's Day.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Want to win a free mortgage payment? That's right, a free mortgage payment like our June winner, Carl Gustafson of Elgin? Then you need to enter Team Hochberg's free mortgage payment sweepstakes. If you own a primary residence in Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, Michigan, or Iowa, Team Hochberg wants to pay your mortgage. I'm not kidding. Team Hochberg wants to pay your mortgage. Entry is free, and you can't win a free mortgage payment like Carl Gustafson did from Elgin if you don't register at 56davidwin.com. What are you waiting for? Register now to win a free mortgage payment at 56davidwin.com. If you want to work with a lender who wants to pay your mortgage like we did for Carl Gustafson of Elgin, call Team Hochberg now at 855-56David or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but you can't win a free mortgage payment if you don't enter the sweepstakes at 56davidwin.com. Homeside Financial Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
Your kids won't be thinking about school very much this summer, but it's the perfect time for you to think about where you'll be sending your child back to school this fall. More and more parents are thinking about private school. Maybe that's you. Well, private school has never been more affordable thanks to halfpriceschools.com, where you can find tuition vouchers for private schools across Chicagoland, available at half of the normal price. No catch. It's simple. Find a school near you, purchase the voucher, prepare to send your child off to school this fall. HalfPriceSchools.com has schools located across Chicagoland, including Christian Liberty Academy in Arlington Heights, Covenant Christian in Aurora, Faith Evangelical Lutheran in Antioch, Trinity Lutheran in Lombard, Calvin Christian in South Holland, Kingswood Academy in Darien, and Westminster Christian in Elgin. Don't delay. Summer won't last forever, and school will be starting again before you know it. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. Many of these vouchers have already sold out, so don't wait. Visit halfpriceschools.com. That's halfpriceschools.com.
Did you miss the open enrollment this year? I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan at any time that eliminates the mandatory maternity coverage. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent producer for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other carriers. If you're over 50 and are covered by the Affordable Care Act, you're paying for maternity coverage every month whether you want it or not. In Chicago, the least expensive PPO health insurance plan under the ACA will cost $572 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $7,900 before your bills are paid at 100%. I can show you how to eliminate the mandatory maternity coverage and lower your monthly premium to $278 per month with a total out-of-pocket cost of $2,500 before your bills are paid at 100%. That's a savings of $294 a month and over $5,000 with my lower deductible. For a free quote and to see if you qualify, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and I've got a quick, cost-effective way to protect and grow the value of your home this summer. Call the professionals at CertaPro Painters for interior and exterior painting. They painted the first floor of my home last year, and every time someone walks in, they always say, gosh, your house looks so much bigger. That's because one of their color specialists helped me pick out the perfect color. So boost your curb appeal this summer with a fresh coat of paint while protecting it from the heat, storms, and insects. Be proud to show off your house to your friends and neighbors. Their summer calendar has a few spots available, so secure yours now. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com, that's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and another dad celebrating Father's Day. The Juice, O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's celebrating. He's joining Twitter.
I know. Who's out on? Are you following him though? That's the question. And if you are, who's following him?
I'm not following him, as our friend Kevin Rooney tweeted. Isn't it great? Now you can follow OJ and you don't even need a helicopter.
Ayo.
Very good. I dare Jack Dorsey to shadow ban OJ. I dare you. OJ, his official Twitter account, he's got a little getting even to do, he says.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
He's back. He looks pretty good. Tanned, relaxed, ready to go.
Well, he's spent some time away.
Well, he was resting.
Relaxing.
Yeah.
He's been on vacation. Hey, Twitter world, he writes, for years people have been able to say what they want to say to me with no accountability. But now I get to change a lot of that BS and set the record straight.
I wonder how his relationship is with his children, his daughter and his son.
Well, there's a lot of conspiracy theories around his son. In a related story, UK police plan to tackle domestic abuse by blunting knives. Replace sharp knives in kitchens with blunt-tipped instruments to prevent their partners from stabbing them to death. I'm just saying for...
Well, how are you going to cut the bread and cut the meat?
Well, I'm
Are you going to get through that beef brisket, Dan?
I'm mostly suggesting this for potentially any loved ones in OJ's life.
I
Just wanted
see.
to apprise them of what police in Britain are doing. Jim in Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, OJ was twittering from a knife, sword, and gun show. But what I want to say is, say a man gets married, he has 3 kids, but then he identifies as a woman. Now would it be insulting for his kids to give him a Father's Day card?
Yeah, he celebrates Mother's Day now, right? Yeah.
Well, maybe not. Maybe he's what they call fluid.
Well,
I'm sure those cards are going to start popping up in our shopping aisles.
You raise an excellent point. Thanks for the call, Jim. I would like to keep up with the times. Speaking of identities that are ever evolving and changing, Rachel Dolezal is back in the news.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Wait, what color is she? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. What race is she associating herself with?
It's not a race. She's got the race thing covered. Remember, she's a white chick who identifies as black chick. She was the head of an NAACP chapter in Washington State.
As a white woman. I mean, really, you can't make this stuff up.
And it's not that a white person could be the head of an NAACP chapter, but it's that she was misrepresenting her race. That was the problem there in Spokane, and looking for a little bit more attention. So while heading to an NAACP chapter marked Pride Month, she came out as bisexual yesterday.
Oh, Rachel. Oh, she left our team. Okay.
Well,
she has moments.
Right. Sometimes you feel like nuts. Sometimes you don't. I'm in absolutely no rush to explore a new relationship, but it still matters to stay visible. Sure. I'm bisexual. I'm a bisexual American.
Perfect timing, too. She did it, in the month of June where we celebrate the LGBTQ LMNOP.
That's exactly right.
Real quick, here's OJ if you want to hear him. Because, is he angry? Come on.
Hey, Twitter world, this is yours truly. Now, coming soon to Twitter, you'll get to read all my thoughts and opinions on just about everything. Now, there's a lot of fake OJ accounts out there, so this one, at the real OJ32, is the only official one. So this should be a lot of fun. I got a little getting even to do. So God bless. Take care.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey, OJ, what makes you get stabby? Why don't we start the conversation there? I mean, we just shouldn't joke about it. This guy's a murderer, but okay. I don't know. Greg in Schaumburg.
If we're still on the subject of Father's Day, Dan,
Sure.
I just wanted to wish you a happy Father's Day on behalf of your 2 imaginary kids, and make a comment that they must have exceedingly great wisdom that they didn't want to go to the White Sox game yesterday. And then one comment for Amy before you cut me off.
Sure.
Amy,
Yes.
Congratulations on your graduation. The investment is well worth it. And will you ever see the return at a certain point in time? Way to go, Amy.
What did you graduate?
My son graduated from 8th grade of playing.
Sure.
And henceforth, I've graduated too. With
Right.
9 championship trophies and 2 cheer teams.
Sure, the Wizard of Blaine. Yes, very good.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll get the rest of Trump's sit-down with Clinton Foundation donor zero, including President Trump commenting on whether he believes President Obama was behind the quote-unquote setup. That's at 5:38.
And later, a strong message from the FOP to Mayor Lightfoot. But first into the newsroom, here's Mike Scott.
Outside, we have gray skies and 54 degrees. 5:30 on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Proceedings are set to get underway in San Diego today. What's being termed a war crimes court-martial of a Navy SEAL, Eddie Gallagher. Earlier this month, a judge denied a request by defense attorneys to outright dismiss those charges. However, the same judge did rule that Gallagher could not be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He's accused of killing an ISIS teen fighter in 2017, as well as 2 other civilians. An Iranian lawmaker blaming the U.S. for attacks on 2 oil tankers in the Gulf of Oman last week. Speaker of Iran's parliament saying the attacks on tankers seem to complement economic sanctions on Iran. 1 person is dead, 7 others hurt following a shooting at a graduation party in Philadelphia. Police Commissioner Richard Ross Jr. was on hand shortly after the shooting, saying 4 of the victims were teenagers.
Those people sustained gunshot wounds, mostly to the leg, maybe 1 to the arm. We haven't confirmed that. None of those are fatalities. We also have 4 adults that sustained gunshot wounds to various parts of their body. They're all in their 20s.
The person who died was not one of the teens. Police have not made an arrest. An 8-year-old boy is North Carolina's 3rd shark attack victim this month. It happened Sunday off Bald Head Island. Shark bit the boy in the leg. He remains hospitalized with puncture wounds. Cleanup continues after the National Weather Service confirmed at least 4 tornadoes hit Indiana over the weekend, including an EF1 tornado about 200 yards wide that hit the town of Beech Grove. Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson remains hospitalized after doctors found a small blood clot in his lung during routine testing. The department spokesperson says Johnson is still hospitalized after being admitted on Friday afternoon at Rush University Medical Center. The blood clot was discovered during a stress test done as Johnson approaches the 2-year anniversary of his kidney transplant. A priest is being reinstated to his church on Chicago's North Side after he was accused of sexually abusing a minor nearly 40 years ago. The Reverend Patrick Lee was removed as pastor of Our Lady of Mount Carmel in January as officials investigated an abuse allegation in 1979, while he was assigned to the St. Christopher Parish in Midlothian. Dodgers hold on to beat the Cubs 3-2 in L.A. White Sox the Yankees kept the White Sox from taking 3 of 4 with a Sunday 10-3 New York win at Guaranteed Rate Field. Cubs are off today before hosting their crosstown rivals, the White Sox, tomorrow night. Gary Woodland, your winner at the 119th U.S. Open, Sunday at Pebble Beach. The news service of Credit Karma. Get your truly free credit scores and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. Download the Credit Karma app now. Credit Karma, here's to progress. 5:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity sees Mueller's statement as nonsense.
So he tries to go out there and basically hang a cloud over President Trump, and he thinks he's being skillful in what he is doing here, and it ends up just backfiring and blowing up in his face.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms but could never figure it out. No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
My kids are the most precious gift God has entrusted to me. When it comes to education, I definitely didn't want to skimp on the quality of academics. But I wanted them to be taught from a godly perspective where the Bible is the foundation for learning. And that's why my husband and I decided on Christian Heritage Academy. We found solid biblical teaching without sacrificing quality of academics. The teachers truly care about the students, and the community is warm and friendly. It's more like a family. My children are thriving spiritually, emotionally, and academically. And besides that, they've had leadership opportunities not available at larger schools. It's no wonder that Christian Heritage has been recognized as one of the best private schools in Illinois.
Are you looking for a quality education that fits with your family's values? Why not check out Christian Heritage Academy in Northfield? Conveniently located in the north suburbs, Christian Heritage has a tour day coming up this Tuesday where families can learn more. To register, visit christianheritage.org and join us this Tuesday. Again, register at christianheritage.org.
536. Let's get an update on the roads this early morning in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Inbound Eisenhower, traffic is heavy early with the new lane configuration at the Burns Circle interchange. We're looking right now 37 minutes from 390 to downtown for travel time. 24 minutes from Mannheim. The delays are from Sacramento to the Circle. On 190 at O'Hare, we're seeing heavy traffic on this Monday. Westbound, Kennedy. The Kennedy, that is, to the Tri-State Tollway. Kennedy itself getting a little heavy outbound now, approaching 190. About 22 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Then you have the additional congestion on 190. Around Stevenson, it's tight Pulaski to Kedzie, a 2-minute delay. Ryan has about a 2-minute delay entering downtown. Bishop Ford, traffic sluggish, approaching the merge. That's traffic. I'm Jim Alamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Morning fog beginning to creep in, otherwise cloudy skies. High of 66. Currently 55. Next news coming up at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And President Trump spent an unbelievable amount of time with Clinton Foundation donor zero, a.k.a. George Stephanopoulos.
Yeah, he allowed 30 hours of access. So they went on a campaign stop together. He drove with him in the Beast. He went with him on Air Force One. It was just very strange to sit down. You know, remember George was standing up in the Oval Office while President Trump was sitting at his desk.
Yeah, right, because Trump said, "Hey, George, stand up," and he said, "I am standing."
That was weird. I didn't like it. It looked like he had power over the president. I didn't like that. But then they sat down together in the Rose Garden and just talked about an array of things from the latest polling numbers to Bob Mueller being fired. It was awkward, and it never, at one point in time, to me, felt comfortable because they had an hour-long special last night on ABC.
30 hours with George Stephanopoulos? I mean, that's taking transparency a little bit too far, don't you think? Look, I understand. To some extent,
in a meeting, though, too, on Air Force One, a cabinet meeting, which that's none of his business.
Well, to some extent, I understand why you engage a Stephanopoulos. Like, I'll talk to anybody. And Trump loves the media, and he loves hashing this stuff out, and he doesn't mind the give and take with any member of the D.C. press corps, so good for him. On the other hand, I don't know if it really serves his interest particularly well, considering the last 3 days of last week were all obsessed, including into the Sunday talk shows. Everything was an obsession over Trump's comments about taking information from a foreign source that's campaign related, whether he would or wouldn't, whether he would report to the FBI or not. Pompeo finally had enough with Wallace on Sunday and just sort of shut it down as the silliness it is. But then there's more that comes out from this hour-long special that you're talking about, including Trump opining on the previous president and the previous administration, right? No obstruction, no collusion, according to the president. The look back at 2016 and the question of whether or not President Obama is culpable or could be found to be culpable in any material way for the quote-unquote witch hunt, as Trump has so determined it. Here's what the president said.
Clearly believe there was a group of people working against you. Do you think President Obama was behind it?
I would say that he certainly must have known about it because it went very high up in the chain, but you're going to find that out. I'm not going to make that statement quite yet, but I would say that President Obama had to know about it.
I'm not going to make that statement quite yet, and here I just made it. But, okay. Yeah. I mean, President Obama must have known about it. It's not plausible to believe he didn't know about it. There's a lot of things that it doesn't seem plausible to believe that President Obama didn't know about, including Hillary's private server. So the president may very well be onto something. I just wish on this score, you know what I'd say?
What?
Attorney General Barr has dispatched a competent U.S. attorney from Connecticut to investigate everything 2016 related with respect to this investigation, even call it a witch hunt again, into me. And we'll see what they turn up. I know the Democrats are very nervous. I don't know why they would be if they didn't do anything wrong, but they seem very nervous. We'll see what it turns up. I'm just going to wait and let the Department of Justice and those tasked with this investigation do their job and leave it there. Just leave it there.
And then, and then he went on to talk about Robert Mueller and why he didn't fire him.
I wasn't going to fire. You know why? Because I watched Richard Nixon go around firing everybody, and that didn't work out too well. If Mueller comes out, there's no collusion, and essentially a ruling that no obstruction, and they keep going with it. You know what? People are angry about it. I don't think that's what he found, but we don't have time for that now. We'll talk about that later. That is what he found. Excuse me. He found no collusion, and he didn't find anything having to do with obstruction because they made a ruling based on his findings, and they said no obstruction. He didn't examine collusion. He laid out evidence of obstruction. Oh, are you trying to say now that there was collusion?
This is so tedious.
No collusion? I know.
This is just so tedious.
It's just good. They're trying to. The way I felt because they had that hour-long special that they're trying to make it a reality TV show type. You know, like living in the big house, living in the White House. It was goofy. I would have never have let that happen.
The back and forth on the Mueller report is just so pedantic at this point because it's just, white and black. You say white, I say black. You say up, I say down. You're just not going to get people to think rationally, some people to think rationally about what's actually included in the report, to put it in context. Mueller had every opportunity to make a statement at least as powerful as the one he made in his press conference, an insinuation at least as powerful as the one he made in his press conference. He didn't do it. Prosecutor's job, he's fully empowered. Nobody impeded his investigation, and he essentially stipulated to that. No problem with his interaction with Barr. He believes Barr's competent and above board. No, they're there on that score in terms of the post-Mueller report cover-up that the Democrats were carrying on about. So what do you got? You got people who, look, if Trump, as I said before, sun sets in the west. No, it doesn't. Sets in the east. That's what they'd say. That's what Stephanopoulos would say. That's what they'd say. Doesn't matter what the president says on any particular topic. This is opposition to every utterance, every action of the president from now until November of 2020. So get used to it.
What about Mike Pompeo, though, and Chris Wallace? Here's a little exchange of that.
Oh, I think I'd want to hear it.
You want that kind of interference in our elections?
It's not an interference. They have information. I think I'd take it.
He says it's not interference, it's information. The country, sir, and I don't have to tell you, has a long history dating back to George Washington in saying that foreign interference in our elections is unacceptable.
Chris, President Trump believes that, too. I have nothing further to add. I came on to talk about foreign policy, and I think the third time you've asked me about a Washington piece of silliness, that chase down a story that is inconsistent with what I've seen President Trump do every single day.
I will leave it there. I think I only asked you twice, but that's all right, Mr. Secretary.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Chris.
fine.
He's not coming on your show again for a while.
It's fine. Look, Pompeo's an adult. He's one of he's
so
one of the
good.
few adults in Washington, so it's enjoyable for him to speak in no uncertain terms on the topic. But this matter of 2016 and what the Democrats will do to hang on to power, fast forward to last week. Kimberly Strassel has a good piece in the Journal over the weekend, as she normally does. This is insightful because it goes to what the left is willing to do to grab on and maintain power. And I'm not saying that Republicans aren't, always looking for angles to grab on and maintain power too. That's sort of the nature of politics. I get it. But when there are, I won't say conspiracies, but let's just say overreaches, not to mention illegalities. So again, from 2016, the one crime we know was committed that the D.C. press corps doesn't talk about at all anymore is the unmasking of General Flynn.
Yep.
That's a crime. We know that's a crime. No, it's not in contention. It's not being even argued. There just doesn't seem to be any interest in finding the responsible party or parties. So that's 2016. How about now? How about 2019 with an eye towards 2020? How about the contempt move last week by the House Oversight Committee to hold Barr and Wilbur Ross, the Commerce Secretary, in contempt? Refer them for a full floor vote. Kimberly Strassel points out, obviously, Wilbur Ross, Commerce Secretary, the party charged with creating the census questionnaire, and the whole issue of the citizenship question. The holding of both Barr and Wilbur Ross in contempt is all about the census and the citizenship question. It has nothing to do with holding the president to account over their version of events with respect to his alleged obstruction of justice, business dealings with Russian oligarchs, the emoluments clause, tax cuts, or anything else that they throw against the wall. In fact, as Strassel notes, the Justice Department has flooded the committee with information, turning over 17,000 pages of documents and making officials available for hours of interviews. That is not usually the behavior of someone, the head of that agency, who would be held in contempt. Contempt's usually a way of breaking an impasse. There is no impasse with respect to disclosure, so what's going on? It's the effort to get, Elijah Cummings, the House Oversight Committee chairman, and the Democrats in the House, their effort to get the Supreme Court to stand down from a ruling on the citizenship question on the census, that ruling due before the end of this month, 2 weeks. She writes, Democrats have convinced themselves that if the administration is allowed to include the question, illegal aliens will shy away from the census, resulting in an undercount in urban areas and fewer Democrat House seats. As New York's Rep. AOC admitted at the hearing on Wednesday, this determines who has power in the United States. And the Supreme Court heard oral arguments in a case, Department of Commerce v. New York, where the court's conservatives, which represent the majority, generally speaking, seem to take the view that the Commerce Department has broad authority over census questions, which is so stipulated by statute. All this prattling on by the left as to the rule of law when it comes to Trump. The Secretary of Commerce empowered by statute, by Congress, to craft the questions. A few weeks ago, the left went to a lower court with quote-unquote new evidence they claim shows the citizenship question was a Republican plot to take over the House. So while they're insisting this is about oversight, one of his own committee members acknowledged that the committee demands for information were more about trying to find a smoking gun to aid the litigation pending before the court and in lower courts. So the goal is delay. And the tell, in addition to the behavior of these Democrats on the Hill, is the ACLU petitioned the Supreme Court to return the case to the lower courts for more discovery. That's what this is about. So all of the high-minded talk about the rule of law and doing their constitutionally required duties to provide oversight, it's all a front. It's all a smokescreen. This is about trying to intimidate the court. This is the use again here, as with Roe v. Wade. If the court rules on this, if the court legitimizes the citizenship question on the census, then they've delegitimized the court, trying to get Roberts to stand down and delay for the purposes of their electoral interests, which, oh, by the way, the nature of them, those interests, is to put persons here illegally in the same position as U.S. citizens. That's their path to power. I mean, there's some unpacking of this that needs to be done, but you should understand it. Understand the subtext to the citizenship question on the census fight. It sounds on the face of it like sort of an ancillary issue. Why should I even pay attention to this arguing about citizenship? I mean, it's not exactly a sexy issue. Well, it is to the Democrats, and why do you think that is? Kimberly Strassel explains why. And it also speaks to their mind's eye and their ambition for power that may have influenced what many of these same people were doing during the 2016 election cycle and since.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Tasty Catering is bringing outdoor happiness to you and your coworkers this picnic season.
Down-home barbecue, street tacos, sausages and sandwiches, steaks, chops, fish, Greek feasts, pig roasts. The list goes on.
Tasty Catering picnic foods are more deliciously sophisticated than ever. With so many great options, everyone will be happy.
Organic, gluten-free, vegetarian, vegan, and dairy-free options never tasted so picnicky.
And your picnic doesn't stop with amazing freshly grilled food. Entertainment, rentals, decor, venue selection. Get everything you need with one single call to Tasty Catering.
Inflatables and crafts for the kids, games and athletics for the teenagers, beverage packages and entertainment options for the adults. There's so much to choose from.
The best company picnics start at TastyCatering.com. View picnic menus, entertainment options, picnic spots, and more. Visit TastyCatering.com. TastyCatering.com.
Hey, take control of your income and your future. I'm talking about Online Trading Academy. They're the leader in trading and investing education with courses offered throughout the Chicagoland area, also in East Peoria, Valparaiso, and Lombard. Excuse me. With Online Trading Academy, you can learn about ways to generate income and protect your retirement. I signed up to take a free class at the Lombard location. Very impressed at what I experienced. I learned a lot about the markets and how to trade, Dan. The instructor was incredibly knowledgeable. He took time to explain to us their patented trading strategy. And after my experience, I really recommend that you give it a try. Sign up for the free introduction class, and I'm sure you'll walk away with a new understanding of trading the markets. Call 844-778-7132. That's 844-778-7132 to attend and get 2 free passes to their next class so you can give it a try. Call right now. Seats go quickly. And if you call now, you can go home with their Professional Insiders Kit. It's a full exclusive investing course information on their best lessons from the pros. Again, seats go quickly, so call 844-778-7132. That's 844-778-7132, or visit them online at otaclass.com.
Hey, everyone. Ken here. For 2 years now, you've heard Carrie and I use metaphors to test to see if you think your home or your business could use a revenue shot in the backside. Today, because of our new website, I can be a little bit more direct. Income Store has 2 doors. If you have more time than money, you're going to live under door number 1. You're going to see over 400 digital assets, 5 to 20 minutes apiece. that'll teach you how to manage numbers and lead people, or show you 6 growth tips you've never heard of. All of this so you can start growing your home or your business revenue literally immediately. If you have more money than time, door number 2 is going to be for you. You can view some of our managed services, look for more done-for-you packages. 34% of Americans in 2018 visited one of our managed services. Forbes 3 years in a row quoted, Income Store is an expert at generating home or business revenue. If you'd love to explore how to check out adding revenue to your home or business, just go to incomestore.com. That's incomestore.com.
Tell me if this is you. There's an outdoor project that you've been wanting to get done, but you just don't have the time or patience to deal with unprofessional contractors. It's a common theme of frustration. You need AM Woodland Outdoor Design for a professional design and a team that will show up on time to get the job done. They'll even let you know throughout the project how everything's going. Imagine that. When you're ready to liven up your curb appeal or completely redesign your outdoor living space, the perfect solution? AM Woodland Design. With so many landscape contractor options to choose from, use a team that shares your values of hard work, honesty, integrity, and patriotism. AM Woodland Outdoor Design proudly sponsors Food for the Poor as a business benefactor and would be honored to work with you.
AM Woodland Outdoor Design, proudly serving Lake, Northern Cook, and Kenosha counties, helping make the communities they grew up in as beautiful as they can be. Visit amwoodland.com, that's amwoodland.com, or call 847-224-2167.
Want a good laugh? Watch those funny insurance ads on TV. You know, the ones the other guys spend billions of dollars on each year. Want seriously good auto, home, business, or life insurance? Come to the Kevin S. Doherty Insurance Agency, an independent Erie insurance agent serving the Chicagoland area. You'll get a great price that saves you money, unbelievable service, and advice from people you can trust. So talk to us at the Kevin S. Doherty Insurance Agency today. Call 630-575-0800. That's 630-575-0800. Or go to insurewithkevin.com. We can help you get where you need to be, where you should be, quickly and easily. Go ahead, laugh at those cave people, stunt guys, and bubbly cashiers. Then see for yourself why more than 90% of Erie customers stay with Erie year after year after year.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. The storm season is here. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for sudden damage and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, you know that 5th grade drama teacher who's the president, Prime Minister of Canada? Yeah. Justin Trudeau introduced this idea to ban single-use plastic products. He's leading by example by drinking water out of a box that's lined with plastic or something. A supermarket in Canada is rolling out a lineup of embarrassing plastic bags to shame customers who forget their reusable ones to cut down on waste. It's always hard to remember a reusable bag. We've redesigned our plastic bags to help you never forget again, the East West Market in Vancouver.
What do the
announced.
bags say?
It
could become a collector's item, though.
Yeah, one plastic bag into the Weird Adult Video Emporium.
Oh, my God.
Another one, Dr. Toe's Wart Ointment Wholesale. Wart Ointment Wholesale. Okay. Easy for me to say. Another one, the Colon Care Co-op.
That's actually funny. I'd actually want those bags.
Well, exactly. They're sort of kitschy, right? Not to mention, I mean, none of these bags are nearly as embarrassing as a reusable cloth NPR bag.
That's pretty bad.
That's embarrassing.
What about the Lululemon bag that men carry around?
Even more so.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the polls at 6:06.
And why Mayor Pete Buttigieg cut his campaign short and returned to South Bend. And I pronounced his name wrong. Buttigieg. Mayor Pete. We'll tell you why. But first, here's Mike Scott.
CPD Superintendent Johnson hospitalized, but recovering after a small blood clot. Aqua, Illinois issues a water advisory for the south suburbs. Some Whataburger fans in Texas not happy with outside investors from Chicago. Aaron Schock says, nope, not running for Congress, at least not yet. Dodgers defeat the Cubs, Yankees hammer the White Sox, and the Sox are calling up their 2016 top pick. WIND, Chicago News Time, 6.
Iran is ready to cross the line. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, making a nuclear announcement that could add to the tension in the Middle East. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Iran says it will step up uranium enrichment within 10 days. That move would break the stockpile limit in the nuclear deal with world powers. This after U.S. blamed Iran for attacks on tankers in the Gulf of Oman. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo told Fox News Sunday the U.S. has not won war, but added,
the Iranians should understand very clearly that we will continue to take actions that deter Iran from engaging this kind of behavior.
Tensions have been rising since the Trump administration exited the Iran nuclear deal and snapped sanctions into place. Iran denies the recent attacks. Dave.
Now, Rachel, tomorrow's the formal kickoff to President Trump's 2020 election campaign with a rally in Florida. But there are reports his campaign has fired pollsters over internal polling that wasn't good for the president. His campaign spokesperson, Kayleigh McEnany, wouldn't confirm firings, but did just tell Fox and Friends.
Yes, those numbers were accurate, but they were from 3 months ago. They were pre-Mueller report. They were the worst case scenario and the most unfavorable turnout model.
She also says in 17 key swing states, the president is now leading a defined Democratic candidate. A new Fox poll has Joe Biden far out in front of the Democratic 2020 race with 32%. Bernie Sanders, the only other one in double digits at 13%. And all of the top 5 Democratic candidates lead President Trump head-to-head. 43% also say in the poll they want the president impeached and removed from office. 48% do not. Who took aim at a graduation party? That's the big question in Philadelphia. 1 person killed, 7 others wounded last night.
People were probably clustered close together because it appears as though the shooter or shooters struck at least 1 person with every round.
Police Chief Richard Ross Jr., no one's been arrested. A 2-pronged apology from Boeing's CEO at the Paris Air Show today. Very sorry for the loss of lives in 2 deadly crashes. Also sorry for the disruption with 737 MAX planes still grounded. This is
gray skies, 55 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A man is dead following a shooting and crash on Chicago's South Side. Police say officers found the victim last night in the driver's seat of an upside-down vehicle near 79th and Luella. He had been shot in the chest. The car appeared to have crashed into a few other parked vehicles. Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson remains hospitalized after doctors found a small blood clot in his lung during routine testing Friday afternoon. Superintendent remains hospitalized at Rush University Medical Center for observation after the blood clot was discovered during a stress test done as Johnson approaches the 2-year anniversary of his kidney transplant. A number of Aqua, Illinois customers in the south suburbs being warned to avoid consuming tap water because of elevated lead levels. Aqua provided an update yesterday saying it's now safe to consume the water, they say, at Arbors at Hickory Creek, Pinewoods Court, and Governor State University. A priest is being reinstated to his church on Chicago's north side after he was accused of sexually abusing a minor nearly 40 years ago. Reverend Patrick Lee was removed as pastor of Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church in January as officials investigated an abuse allegation from 1979 while he was assigned to the St. Christopher Parish in Midlothian. Former Peoria Congressman Aaron Schock not looking to go back to Capitol Hill just yet. Schock's camp saying they're putting out rumors he's planning another run for Congress. Schock recently updated some campaign paperwork, and some news outlets took that as a sign that Schock was running again. Dodgers held on to beat the Cubs 3-2. Yankees over the White Sox 10-3. Gary Woodland celebrating his first major victory after winning the 119th U.S. Open Sunday at Pebble Beach. The news service of Credit Karma. Get your truly free credit scores and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. Download the Credit Karma app now. Credit Karma, here's to progress. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You're listening to AM 560, The Answer, home of 7 of the top 100 radio talk hosts in America, according to Talkers Magazine. Congratulations to Joe Walsh.
I like that.
Larry Elder.
How do you do that?
Dennis Prager.
It should be obvious.
Sebastian Gorka.
That's very interesting.
Hugh Hewitt.
I got you already.
Mike Gallagher.
Honest to goodness.
And the #1 talk show host in the country, Sean Hannity.
This is a little bit overboard.
The top talkers in America are talking right here on AM 560, The Answer.
All right, welcome to F-150 Radio. Call from Georgia. Chad, what's shaking in Macon?
I know the F-150 kicks butt and takes names.
Like how the high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy F-150 thrashes the competition with best-in-class towing and torque?
Mm-hmm, not surprised. Totally saw that coming.
Chad, how do you know so much about F-150 beating the competition?
I drive the competition. Got a 10-year lease.
Kind of embarrassing, huh?
Maybe I shouldn't advertise that fact on a national talk radio show.
Good call. The Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Best-in-class claims with properly configured vehicles. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
Now get a 2019 F-150 with 0% financing for 72 months, only at your Ford dealer. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 0% APR financing for 72 months at $13.89 per month per thousand finance, regardless of down payment. Program number 21040 on 2019 Ford F-150. Not available on Raptor. Residency restrictions apply. Take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 7/1/19. See dealer for qualifications and complete details.
Sheet metal is a big part of commercial and industrial facilities. Look around your business and you'll quickly notice how many components use sheet metal. From fan systems and hoods to machinery guards and much more. For top quality sheet metal work, get to know the pros at Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial sheet metal contractor that can fabricate all types of alloys up to 1-inch plate. We perform jobs including chutes, hoppers, stacks, siding, and dust collection. We work in material handling facilities including steel, chemical, agricultural, food processing plants, and more. Vans Industrial can also design and perform the engineering for a complete turnkey installation. Our quality work is installed by trained mechanics who will work closely with you to make sure the job is done right.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level. Call 833-VANS-IND. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
At Farmers Insurance, we know every windshield collision has a unique sound. Beetle. Bird poop. Drone. Seen it, covered it. Talk to Farmers.
We are Farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
6:07 AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Inbound Eisenhower traffic is brutal with delays from 17th Avenue to Des Plaines Avenue and a solid mess from Cicero to Racine. 55 minutes is the drive time already from 390 to downtown. 42 minutes from Manheim with the new lane configuration right before the burn circle. It's a mess. Outbound 31 minutes to 390. The 8 inch is good. Kennedy, 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 32, plus additional delays on westbound 190 at the airport. Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, side to the merge. Bishoport, 27. The northbound tri-state is tight from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center and meteorologist Steve Williams.
Some patchy fog around this morning, otherwise a cloudy day, high 66. Cloudy tonight, low 55. Clouds and breaks of sun, warm day tomorrow, high 78. Cloudy, cooler showers on Wednesday with a high 70. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
55 at O'Hare, cooler lakeside now, 53. Your next news update is at 6:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Are you worried about President Trump's re-election prospects? All weekend, the D.C. press corps, the big government press corps, told you that you should be, that Trump is in deep Bandini, that the numbers don't look good, that he's trailing Biden in head-to-head matchups, as well as three other Democrat socialist aspirants.
Yeah, but not trailing him by double digits.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Are you ready to throw in the towel? Are you worried Trump won't win re-election?
I didn't have any pause until this past weekend when I saw those numbers. I mean, it's Trump, it's Bernie Sanders, it's even Elizabeth Warren. I mean, these are people that I would not expect to be beating Trump by double digits.
Well, they're not all beating Trump by double digits, even in these the polls in question, the polls that have been blared across the cable networks. Fox poll shows Biden leading 49-39 among all registered voters.
Okay.
Bernie 49-40, holding edges of 1 or 2 points over Trump. Within the poll's 3-point margin of error, Warren, Reparation H, and Mayor Pete. Mm-hmm.
Do you believe it? I mean, do you believe the numbers? Do you believe these polls? Because President Trump he fired 2 of his pollsters. But the reason why he did it was because somebody was leaking information. He didn't fire them because of the results of the polls, which is the way CNN is playing it and other mainstream media. He fired them because somebody leaked information.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
A whole nother issue. The Fox poll. Registered voters? No. Likely voters is what you poll, number one. Number two, how many times and how many presidential elections do people have to go through to understand that it is a state-by-state contest, that national polling, national numbers are virtually meaningless? I mean, in addition to the fact that we're 16 months out, yes, but the 49-39, 48-40, people don't even know who Mayor Pete is. You know what that is? R versus D. It's basically generic ballot / a referendum on Trump. They don't know who Reparation H is.
I know.
So the idea, catching fire, no, not really.
Somebody asked me the other day who Kamala Harris was, or Kamala.
Registered voter. By the way, and
senator from California. Oh.
And this is the same. Well, pay attention to all this stuff, especially a year plus out. The same goes, by the way. So I think I'm just like flacking for Trump. The same goes for the CBS Battleground Tracker poll that just focused on Democrats. CBS YouGov, 16,000 registered voters across these various battleground states for the Democrats as they pursue the nomination. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing with Biden's national number versus the rest of the Democrat socialist field. Doesn't mean anything. This is a way for the D.C. press corps to promote outcomes they want to see happen, and or to just sort of go with wherever the zeitgeist is and to help fan those flames in that direction. Polling is not all specious. It's not all fake. It's just science. 95% confidence interval polls tell you something, but they are snapshots in time.
And you think they should be polling likely voters rather than registered voters?
Well, I would, if I really wanted to understand what's happening on the ground.
Okay.
I mean, right now, I mentioned this survey from Public Opinion Strategies maybe a week ago. 69% intensity in terms of likely to vote. Great. Well, that's who you know is coming out, so that gives you a real handle of what the landscape provides. It's much more instructive. But there's just so much. You have to get into the quality of the framing of the questions and so forth. There's science behind it. If a poll is accurate within within a 95% confidence interval, margin of error less than 1 standard deviation, it's useful. It's instructive, mostly to test messages in particular, less so the head-to-head, especially now. So all of this frenzy that's being created is just a reflection of people's hopes and dreams in terms of what happened, more so than anything instructive about what is likely to happen at this point in time. So you just have to separate it out and don't get drawn into the hype, because that's what most of this is. Most of these numbers are. It's not to say that Trump has a walk towards re-election. He doesn't.
No.
Not saying that. But I'm saying that this is evidence that it's over for Trump, which is what the press was clearly intimating this weekend, is ridiculous. It is astoundingly ignorant. And
they're pressing the point that
consistent with the press.
Yeah, they're pressing the point that one of the polls showed Biden up by 7 points in Florida, and that's where Trump's going to officially launch his 2020 campaign tomorrow. It's like,
yeah. Oh, by the way, Joe Biden is still hovering around his high water mark. Nobody's been touched yet, and Trump gets touched every single day with the full blowtorch of the D.C. press corps. 90% of the coverage being negative. Biden hasn't even been touched yet, including by the Trump campaign, really. And we're a week away, or this weekend, I guess, the first Democrat-Socialist debate, where they're going to start touching each other, especially Biden, because you know how he likes to touch. And by the way, that was a topic of conversation over the weekend.
Oh.
When Jonathan Karl was set in for Clinton Foundation Donor Zero on This Week, and he talked to AOC, making her inaugural appearance on the week, this week, I should say. And he asked her about Creepshow Joe and whether, he's learned his lesson to keep his hands to himself.
So Joe Biden appears to be the front runner in virtually all the polls. Do you think he has sufficiently answered the accusations from women who accused him of inappropriate touching? Does he, in short, does he get it?
I think that's something that he has to kind of show the electorate. I think that I think that it is an issue where there is a struggle. I'll be completely honest. I don't think that he has. I wouldn't say that it is an incredibly severe. I don't think that voters think that he is necessarily guilty of sexual misconduct or anything like that. But I do think that there may be some discomfort. Especially seeing some clips this week and, a week before, telling a 13-year-old, telling her brothers to watch out for her. And I think there are some things with female voters that it's just not quite locked down. And I think that there's some ways to go, but this is also a cultural evolution, I think, that we're having as a country. So I don't think it's necessarily about being punitive in these ways. But I do think, like in all issues and with all demographics and in all electorates, it's not about right and wrong sometimes. It's just about whether feeling like someone gets it or not.
That's a tortured answer.
My goodness, yes or no?
Not guilty of sexual assault. That's a ringing endorsement.
And the cultural changes are happening.
This is what I'm saying, is that, the progressives, as evidenced by AOC, not exactly enthusiastic about Biden. It's a huge problem for Biden.
It is, because he needs her support. I mean, if he wants to win, I think. And she's deciding right now between Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, who she's going to endorse.
It's a problem for him in the primary. It's maintained. It would be maintained as a problem in the general were he to make it, because you need your base to be enthusiastic. And by the way, AOC, I hate to break it to old guard Democrats from a bygone era, AOC is where a majority of the Democrat Socialist Party is today. Yeah. Yep. Sorry. True. Particularly if you want to, stick with your allegiance to polling data on the topic. He hasn't been touched yet. And in Iowa and New Hampshire, he's basically just outside the margin of error with respect to Comrade Bernie. So Biden, let's say, 7, 8 months from now, loses Iowa. And then Bernie, on his home turf, let's say he loses to Bernie, then Bernie goes and wins Vermont. Then Bernie has a problem perhaps in South Carolina with African-American voters, and Kamala wins, and so on and so forth. It can come apart very quickly for Creepshow Joe, is my point. So just keep this in context and keep your feet firmly planted on the ground before you listen to all of this pablum coming from an ignorant press corps. and at Craven press corps, too. They have skin in the game. They have preferences. Tom in Deer Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes, Dan, no doubt they have skin in the game, but my call was about the fact that they reported that the president fired a bunch of pollsters that accurately reported him being down big time in the key battle states. So vintage Trump, if you believe the reports, vintage Trump didn't like the bad news that he got from people that he paid, so he turned around and canned them for leaking. So, again, that's his vintage Trump for you.
Yeah, except, Tom, you have the story wrong, and Amy just made mention of it. That's not why they got fired.
They got fired because they leaked the internal numbers that they were not supposed to leak. But
thanks for the call, Tom.
This is one headline from CNN. Trump campaign fires multiple pollsters after unflattering numbers leaked.
Right.
And then you have...
By the way, as you heard in Mike Scott's newscast from one of those campaign spokes beings, these by the way, the other thing, these numbers are stale. They're from March.
Oh.
So there's all kinds of things. And by the way, one of his pollsters, and I don't know what the status is because the press accounts I read weren't specific about which pollsters were allegedly fired and which were not.
Yeah.
But I know Tony Fabrizio. I've used Fabrizio before. He's an excellent pollster. And he's been with Trump since the 2016 campaign. And oh, by the way, during the 2016 campaign, because I know that firm, they were not always giving Trump good news because it wasn't always good news during that tumultuous 2016 campaign. And they didn't go away. So it has nothing to do with that. Candace in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I have worked on campaigns before, so I know that people lie all the time. Particularly, I'm going to say Republicans. Republicans, when you call them, hate to say who they are voting for. And I think they, more than Democrats, like to lie. They like to trick the Democrats. And they obviously did, 2016. Look at how far off, Amy, the polls were. The same thing happened here in Wisconsin. We had Hagedorn up by 13 points 2.5 weeks out from the election. And they were polling that like crazy, and he won by 6,000 points. So I don't believe the polls, Dan, at all.
All right. Thanks, Candace.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
It was a brutally cold, harsh winter. Pothole season is bad. Guess what? Your commercial building parking lot took a beating too. Take care of it now to prevent further damage. Time to get a great parking lot. Great Parking Lots, a local company with decades of great parking lots for Chicagoland. Get a quote.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great.
Commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. Get a great parking lot. They use a special process that not only works well, but lasts longer. It's a great investment for your business or for your commercial building to have a great parking lot. It's the first impression for everyone in the building and people visiting the building. And you can do business with a company that shares your values.
I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Check it out. GreatParkingLots.com.
GreatParkingLots.com. GreatParkingLots.com.
Hey, this is big. Listen up. You're about to hear how you can receive the single biggest discount on Balance of Nature that's ever been offered on this radio station. And you're going to want to take advantage of it because Balance of Nature works. There's no simpler way to say it. Your body needs fruits and vegetables, and you're not getting enough in your diet. And here's how Balance of Nature works. When you take the recommended 3-capsule dosage, your body receives as much nutrition as it would from eating more than 10 servings of a salad made with 31 different fruits and vegetables in it. It's just that easy. You hear people talking about Balance of Nature every day on this station, including me, because it works. So start living a healthier life today by taking Balance of Nature. And here's the deal you need to take advantage of before it's gone. For a limited time, you can receive a 30% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. But you have to use the promo code Chicago. That's 30% off and free shipping when you call 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
Message and data rates may apply.
Ever look at your paycheck and think, there's gotta be a better way? Well, here's some news. There is, and I can show it to you. I'm Paula Sajan, star of A&E's hit TV show, Flip This House. My brother and I have taught thousands of people how to start making money in real estate. Now, it's your turn. Next week, we're conducting a free 2-hour educational workshop right here in Chicago, where you'll hear about my proven flipping systems that help you start flipping homes for profit in your spare time using other people's money, and how to get started flipping the script by putting money in your pocket with income opportunities. Real estate is a powerful tool that has made millions of people wealthy, but you can't start making your first dollar until you take your first step. Come to my free workshop and take advantage of this amazing opportunity. It could mean a lifetime of financial security.
To get 2 free tickets to Paul's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 37,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 37,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also reserve a free copy of Paul's Money for Deals guide. Just text your zip code to 37,000.
When the world is watching, and you need your logo perfectly printed on promotional items, you need the ultimate guarantee. You need certainty. To know for certain it'll be right the first time, on the right items, at a great price. You need the promotional product experts at 4imprint. Because as soon as something has your logo on it, it matters to you, your customers, your coworkers, and to us. From pens and caps to hot tech and popular brands, 4imprint's wide selection always changes to keep up with the latest trends. But there is one thing we've delivered for over 30 years that's timeless: certainty. Because the world is certainly watching. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. That's the number 4imprint.com. 4imprint. For certain.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we were talking about D.C. press corps reporting and polling in. I'll tell you, watching these D.C. press corps types on the cable news talkies and roundtables discussing polling always reminds me of the oil paintings of dogs playing poker.
Oh.
I just giggle. It's just funny. Continuing on a little bit of our discussions, to turn to Joe Biden. Here's something else that's always entertaining. When campus reform correspondents go to college campuses and ask the young people, our best and brightest, like those undergrads at Marymount University, to weigh in on politics. Here's the most recent offering.
Oh, no.
This is Cabot Phillips, the media director for campusreform.org. Goes to Marymount University. He's just going to read the undergrads some statements and ask them, who said this?
Oh.
Who said these insensitive statements? Joe Biden or Donald Trump?
First quote, "You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent." Who do you think said that?
I know.
Trump.
Trump.
That sounds like a Trump quote.
Ooh. That's a big yikes. But I might say Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Next up, this was to a largely African-American audience. Quote, "If my opponent wins, they're going to put you all back in chains."
Trump again.
Wow. I still think that's Donald Trump.
Oh, definitely Trump.
Trump.
Donald Trump.
Joe Biden.
Next up, this was about President Obama. He called him, quote, "the first mainstream African-American who is articulate and bright and clean."
Probably Trump.
I'll go Trump again.
Who do you think said that?
I think Trump said that.
Donald Trump.
What if I told you that all of those are actually Joe Biden?
All right, there it is.
Is that surprising?
Yeah, very.
That's crazy.
Is that surprising?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Oh, that's bad.
Is that surprising to you?
Yeah, I mean, they're all pretty racist, so it's not really good.
Ah, well, that's surprising.
That's really surprising.
Why is that surprising?
I've never heard any of those things before, so the fact that you told me that, now I'm like, damn, is he really who he say he is?
I don't think that's something I want to really support.
Those doe-eyed undergrads.
They didn't even hesitate to. President Trump.
Of course.
Another President Trump.
What's
all Biden?
It's the propagandizing that Trump is a racist. See, I don't know what anybody said. I just know that I'm told that Trump is a racist. So if anything sounds racist, Trump must have said it, and we must believe it. And the Democrats are and the socialists are for minorities, and they're for the little guys. So if it sounds like something that would be pro-minority, little guy, then it must be the Democrat Socialist for it. It's the power of the media, which, as Breitbart famously said, correct, the media, DC Press Corps, more powerful than all three branches of government combined.
Yep.
And you see it in these kids that don't know anything. And these are the best and the brightest, remember, these campus beat interviews. They don't know anything. But we're going to turn over the college campus to them? Let them run the show? Let them run your household? Let them run our electoral outcomes? I don't think so.
Hey, how's Biden's new daughter-in-law doing?
You see the story about Hunter's fiance there?
Yeah, who just moved out of her ex-boyfriend's house about 12 days before they were married?
The heart wants when it wants, Amy.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Mark Zuckerberg doesn't post about his children. Should you post about yours on social media at 6:36? Prof parenting tip.
Oh, pay attention, folks. And then later, George Will joins us with his new book. But let's get into the newsroom first. Check out news from here at home and around the world. Here's the one and only Mike Scott. And happy belated Father's Day.
Well, thank you.
You're a wonderful father of four.
I got a Weber grill, old school Weber grill for Father's Day. Well done.
Put you to work. That's
ladies.
What they're doing.
Yes, of course they are. 55 degrees, cloudy skies. Iran says it will pass the internationally agreed limit on its low-enriched uranium stockpiles by the end of the week. Reporter Bill Neely says Iran, he believes, is flexing its muscles toward the United States.
Saying to the U.S., look, you can pressure us with your sanctions, you can strangle us economically, but we also have levers to pull, and one of them is a nuclear one.
The country's Atomic Energy Organization says it will increase enrichment levels to 20% in about 10 days. House Minority Whip Steve Scalise glad to see the Trump administration getting aggressive on cybersecurity.
You've got to take every step possible, first of all, to make sure what happened in 2016, what the Russians attempted to do to meddle with our elections, doesn't happen again in 2020 or any other election.
On NBC's Meet the Press, the Louisiana Republican saying he's happy that the Defense Department is ramping up digital attacks on Russia. Proceedings are set to begin today in San Diego in the court-martial of Navy SEAL Eddie Gallagher. Gallagher is accused of killing a teen ISIS fighter in 2017, as well as 2 civilians. At least 1 person is dead, 7 others hurt after a shooting at a graduation party in southwest Philadelphia.
Those people sustained gunshot wounds, mostly to the leg, maybe 1 to the arm. We haven't confirmed that. None of those are fatalities. We also have 4 adults that sustained gunshot wounds to various parts of their body. They're all in their 20s.
4 of the victims were teenagers. About 60 were at that party. 1 man is dead following a shooting and crash on Chicago's South Side. Police continue investigating near 79th and Luella. Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson remaining hospitalized after doctors found a small blood clot in his lung during routine testing. The National Weather Service confirming the touchdown of several tornadoes in central Indiana over the weekend. And Illinois officials are warning those who plan to recreate in lakes, if it ever gets warm enough, to be cautious about blue-green algae blooms that can cause sickness or health issues. Dodgers hold on to beat the Cubs 3-2 in L.A. Yankees kept the White Sox from taking 3 of 4 with a 10-3 New York win at the rate. Gary Woodland, your U.S. Open winner at Pebble Beach. The news a service of Credit Karma. Get your truly free credit scores and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. Download the Credit Karma app now. Credit Karma, here's to progress. 6:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is astonished by Joe Biden.
Can you fathom how desperate you have to be as a presidential candidate who sees your front-running status kind of evaporating. It's like sand through his fingers. And he literally said, when I'm president, we'll cure cancer.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Want to keep your AC from conking out? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an AC tune-up, ASAP. It can help pinpoint potential problems and even extend the life of your air conditioning system. How's that for a comforting thought? Right now, get cool savings on an AC tune-up. Call 855 1 Hour.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. See website for full details.
Hey guys, good news. The expensive Little Blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And now get your first month's supply for just $5 at 4hims.com/Chris. Hims connects you with real doctors online who can prescribe the medication, and a pharmacy sends it right to your door. So easy. To get your first order for just $5, you need to go to 4hims.com/Chris. That's 4hims.com/Chris.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
You guys have a great product, and I tell my friends about it. And I was actually talking to a guy the other day who I just met, and he takes them. So you put out a great product, and I want to thank you and your organization.
I just started using it, and my family's already seen the difference. And I have health issues. I have fibromyalgia, asthma, but all of a sudden everything's clearing up, and I'm feeling better, and my skin's better. My brother said I look 10 years younger already.
Wow. Okay.
My vision is clearer. I already see the difference. People are seeing the difference, and my doctor's seeing the difference.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. For a limited time, you can receive a 30% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
It is 6:36 in the AM 560 Traffic Center, the latest on the morning commute with Jim Talamonte.
The inbound Eisenhower commute is absolutely miserable right now with delays from First Avenue most of the way to the Burn Circle. It is an hour and 18 minutes, 390 to downtown. It's a new lane configuration before the Circle. It's an hour and 5 minutes from Manheim to the Circle. Outbound 38 minutes downtown to 390. The Edens is 21 minutes Lake Hook to Montrose. Kennedy, 28 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Outbound, looking at 48 minutes heavy airport traffic. Stevenson from 355 to the Drive, it's 46 minutes. The Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 20 minutes. I-80 to Converge. Northbound Tri-State delays are Crawford past Cicero from the Ike to North Avenue. It's traffic. I'm Jim Alamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, morning fog should burn off a little later on today and leaving us with cloudy skies and a high near 67. Currently 55. Next news at 7, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. The FOP, Fraternal Order of Police in Chicago, penned and released an open letter to the citizens of Chicago about Mayor Lori the Lightfoot. This is interesting. I'm not getting off to a particularly congenial start here.
I didn't know it was going to be like this. I thought that they'd let bygones be bygones and they'd start fresh and new when she was sworn in as mayor.
Yes. Instead, they go through a couple of things here. Again, just the total lack of detail in this conversation and context.
Right.
What is being proposed? What is the expected positive benefit of what's being proposed? Can you just answer those two questions? We know what was in the consent decree that was authored and released by Loretta Lynch during President Obama's presidency that was subsequently rejected by Attorney General Jeff Sessions. And it included things that Lori Lightfoot supports. Okay. However, this letter from FOP goes through a couple of them, signed by two of the vice presidents of the organization and the co-chair of its legal defense. They write, many of Mayor Lightfoot's measures reflect a political ideology rather than sound constitutional policies. Some of Mayor Lightfoot's reform measures, like the proposed point and report, police mandating paperwork every time an officer draws and points his weapon, have no provable benefit. On the contrary, they potentially further handcuff the police and tie them down in extraneous paperwork. They also point out that they've attempted to make this point to the mayor. They also reference research that finds that, done by the University of Utah, that blamed policies like these for an increase in murders. Police officers and members of the Lodge, FOP, predicted this outcome. No one listened to us.
And they just wanted to say Lightfoot's refusal to deal with the FOP undermines the possibilities for immediately addressing crime.
Yeah, here's where I think that the FOP is making a mistake. They start to get to it here in this open letter. Lightfoot is being generic. She's offering the same fortune cookie sayings that we've been hearing about violence on the streets of Chicago for generations. There's nothing new here. Reform, reform, reform as a mantra. So if she's being general, the way that you combat that, her lack of a desire to be specific, is to be specific. And they start to get to it here, mentioning the point and report policy. But there are other things. They should go chapter and verse on the specifics. Here's the specific reform she's proposed. Right. Here's why we support it or don't support it. Here's the evidentiary basis for it. Here's the predicted outcome, positive or negative. Just a grid for a conversation starter. People can assimilate that kind of information, and neither side is effectively providing it.
Well, they started the letter, too, saying she announced this week that she would not sit down and negotiate with the FOP on any issue unless we unilaterally accept what she claims are reform measures. Well, I need more.
Well, she's trying to leverage agreement. She's trying to leverage the possibility of getting a contract done.
Right.
To get those reforms stipulated that she wants. But again, and I'd be interested to hear from from rank and file police officers, because I know a lot listen to this show.
312-642-5600. We'd love to hear from you.
Be specific. And that's a way to challenge her to be specific. It's real. So do what no politician in this state does, and do what few people can do themselves, at least here. Connect dots for people, please. I'm not an expert in policing, but I can follow logic. I can say, I can follow you saying, here's what I'm proposing. Here's what it will require. Here's what I think the expected outcome will be. Here's on the timeline on which I think we'll see evidence of this expected outcome. That's not too difficult to follow that linear path. A lot of people could do it. A lot of people are interested to do it. Neither side is providing it.
Well, they said our members are locking up these criminals and Miss Fox is letting them go. Both the Lodge and the city have an interest in holding Miss Fox accountable. Together, we can advocate
Yes. Is the state attorney's office a problem? Is Kim Fox a problem? Obviously. Yes. We've gone through that on any number of cases. So that's roped in. And that's part of the conversation, too, because we should look at the justice system in Chicago holistically. But you still have this dynamic between the mayor's office, between the fifth floor and the police department, and that needs to be addressed. And frankly, the same thing with Fox. What Chicago police have done a good job of is releasing cases, the specifics of cases that can then be reported, so people get a tangible sense of what's happening, how Kim Fox is doing a bit of turnstile justice over at the state attorney's office and what a problem that is, and the human cost of that reckless approach, ideological approach, as they reference here in their open letter, ideological approach to law enforcement rather than practical approach.
She should be charged with involuntary manslaughter. I mean, think of the people that she's released, and then they turned around and killed somebody a few days later. It's a bit of a stretch, but look, I mean, the officer in Parkland didn't do his job, and now he's been charged with a crime.
Well, this is the Pandora's box you could open up here, but the point is the specifics. Stop being satisfied with platitudes. Stop being satisfied. Yeah, it's that season. It's that season. It's Peace March season. Kicked off on Friday night. We had a Southside Peace March at St. Sabina.
Oh.
And it's going to happen every Saturday night. And shall I report to you the crime statistics from the Auburn-Gresham neighborhood in which St. Sabina resides and Father Pfleger pontificates? But it's the same thing. ABC 7 dutifully reporting the same story. They've reported for generations, decades. It's a different reporter, and it's literally the same statements. And in many cases, the same people, like that Archie cartoon character who's the pastor there.
This is Chicago, united against violence.
And this is a summer safe space.
We really want our children to be safe. We're the ones that got to do our part on the block, in the neighborhood, in the community.
Each Friday night of summer, starting tonight.
I be praying for my city, Chicago.
The south side streets around St. Sabina are self-declared safety zones.
Yeah, it's a safe zone.
Go to the safe zone.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to put your weapons down. You're not allowed to shoot people here. Lori Lightfoot on hand.
Everyone in every neighborhood reclaiming the territory under your feet and saying we will not shelter the people who wreak havoc and chaos in our streets.
Yeah. We won't shelter them. The state's attorney's office will.
Right.
I mean, do you get sick of hearing this and watching this? What is the point of the midnight vigils and the evening marches? And
now they have evening bike rides through Inglewood.
Well, that sounds like a good idea.
Well, I kept checking the blotter to see if anyone on that bike ride was shot. No one was shot over the weekend.
Well, that's good news.
But they're going to do it every weekend, weather permitting. Instead of midnight basketball, midnight bike rides.
I just don't understand people satisfied with the prosaic symbolism. It's Groundhog Day every day in this city. Oh, yeah, we're for the children, safe spaces, against violence.
Reform.
Take our block back, one block at a time. Let's go have a walk around the block. Call it a day. I'll see you next Friday night to do the same. I mean, there'll be fewer of us here on Friday night for the people that are shot and killed during the week.
Well, 22 were shot over the weekend, 4 killed.
I mean, Auburn-Gresham, again, it's one of the most violent neighborhoods in the city. It's this year, I think it's 4th or 5th in terms of number murdered and number shot, behind places like Inglewood. I mean, how long has Father Pfleger been there? How long have these same people been promoting the same approach and the same policies? And I'm sorry, what has been the result? Can anybody follow that linear train of thought? I mean, I guess not. I don't know. I just don't know. Mike on the north side.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. Amy, it's not a stretch. She is responsible. First off, Father Pfleger, one of his armed security guards, he's the guy that's against guns, shot and killed a shoplifter at the Walgreens at Fullerton and Cicero, but we don't hear anything about that.
Well, when did that allegedly happen?
That happened last weekend. The manager called a security guard who was off duty, he knew, who happened to be one of Pfleger's bodyguards. And he shot a woman. He wasn't even working there, overtaking a few items. So when they want to talk about senseless killings, let's start with his illegally armed bodyguards. Second of all, the Chicago Police Department for the last 25 years has been hiring people who didn't even grow up in the city just because they have a liberal arts degree. We ought to go back to hiring people from the neighborhoods, even with military experience, and give them back their flashlights, give them back their nightsticks, and let them use their fists. Because if the only answer to the crime they have is a gun, once they pull a trigger, you can't put the bullet back in the chamber. And you can't expect some police officer to sacrifice their life because a member of the community wants to act out.
Okay, thanks for the call, Mike. I mean, boy, I don't know.
I'm at a loss.
I just can't understand the tolerance for it. And by the way, the Chicago press corps is just so awful. Do you have any? Because the people have been running these TV, these network affiliates. It's the same people for the same amount of time as the politicians. They all. This is theater. Insert mayor here at this church on this Friday night near the start of summer. Insert reporter here. Here's the script. Rinse and repeat for 40 years.
Neighbors from the community, marchers, Father Flieger.
We're doing stuff. Okay.
Make sure it's not longer than 1:32.
Steve on the south side.
I was actually calling. Hear you guys talking about Kim Foxx, and I do enjoy listening to you guys. But I'm just curious because I haven't heard her actually doing anything to promote criminal activity as far as violence is concerned. I understand that she's letting go people with driver's license issues and thefts, little small thefts, but that's not actually pushing murder charges, right? That's not actually letting people go who have actually committed murder. So
we talked about a case last week, Steve. There are others, but let me just give you this example. 2-time convicted gun felon, released on $6,000 bond, goes out and kills a 15-year-old girl. That happened last week. Should never been released.
Yeah.
I mean, and I appreciate the call, Steve. Thanks for that. This was Kim Foxx's rationale. Kim Foxx's rationale on the Smollett case too, and maybe these other sort of nonviolent cases. We got to focus all our research on violent crime. If you were actually doing that, I might say, okay, I'll give you some bandwidth. Let's see how it plays out. Let's see if you actually do what you're saying you do. We're watching. She's not doing. I'm always just astounded at the rationalization. The rationalization from families who are living in these shooting galleries, from politicians who represent those families living in the shooting galleries. Identity politics is enough. Having a black female state's attorney, having a black female mayor, having a black female Cook County Board president, that's all that matters. My quality of life doesn't. My children's safety doesn't. Their performance doesn't. All this excuse making. Again, the Stockholm Syndrome that afflicts this city is the most virulent strain in the Western world. It just is remarkable to me. The body count over the last 3 decades, 80% plus African-American victims, 80% plus African-American assailants. And what do we say? What do we talk? Another after-school program? Another novelty T-shirt? A park? Corey in Woodlawn.
Hello, Dan. I would like to say this, and this may not be the best solution for most, but I think this is what will solve the crime in Chicago. Chicago must institute a work requirement for public housing. Right now it's 0. Their target people are between 18 and 25. That young group of people sitting at home 24 hours a day with nothing to do, I think that's where a lot of this crime is coming from.
Yeah.
New York has a work requirement. 73% of the people must work. Chicago has 0 work requirement. And if they don't change that, this is not going to get solved.
That's a good point. It's a great idea. Thanks, Corey. I mean, it's
the best one we've had in a while.
Well, this is like work requirements for everything.
Right.
You want people working and being productive and feeling a sense of accomplishment that galvanizes them to do more and be a more and more of a pillar of their community as they go on. I mean, this is he's absolutely right about that. But
they do that in New York.
We're going to have that conversation here. Who's proposing that for system change? The infusion of accountability measures for those
election.
for those receiving benefits of any kind. I mean, that's not what Corey from Woodlawn just, it's hardly revolutionary. And yet, there's no impetus behind anything of the sort. It's just going to be more of this finger pointing and sloganeering. And that's not going to improve anybody's life or make anybody safer.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Lou Dobbs. President Trump has won a court victory again in the Ninth Circuit. Pet food IPO Chewy hit it big with investors, and Denver mourning the passing of Pat Bolin. Those stories next.
Hi, this is Dennis Prager. In addition to radio, I have spent years, actually decades, in a classroom teaching the Torah. The class was called Dennis Teaches the Torah. I took all 5 books and explained fascinating details that most people had not seen before. Every lecture, every class, for every book was recorded over 250 hours, and it was made available to the public. In the Prager store, you can now buy the complete Torah teachings. You'll hear and learn what the students in the classroom heard and learned. You can listen on your phone, iPad, laptop. To celebrate the release of the new volume of the Rational Bible, Genesis, the Prager store is offering all of my Torah teachings for 50% off and giving away a free autographed copy of the new book. Go to pragerstore.com or click the banner at dennisprager.com.
The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals handing President Trump a rare victory in his battle to ban transgender people from military service. The court overruled a Seattle judge who had said the ban violated the rights of transgender service members and recruits. Friday's initial public offering for pet retailer Chewy, a big success. Shares soaring 71% in its first day of trading, and investors will watch this week as activity resumes on Wall Street. The Chewy IPO tapping into Americans' love of pets, of course. We spent almost $73 billion on our dogs and cats last year. Ceremonies and a memorial service planned this week for Denver Broncos owner Pat Bolin. He died late last week, the first owner in NFL history whose team won 300 games in 3 decades. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO of Wesley Financial Group and timeshare cancellation advocate. I was sued by the largest timeshare company in federal court for simply helping people cancel their timeshare that they had been lied to about. The jury sized me up and came back with a verdict after only 20 minutes. And yes, I won.
My husband and I are more than grateful to everyone at Wesley Financial Group. You know, thanks to Chuck and his team, we feel as though a weight has been lifted and we can move on without the worry of a troublesome timeshare.
Whether you owe $10,000 to $250,000 on your timeshare, it's my mission to get you out of your timeshare, eliminate your payments, and get them off your back permanently. And we proudly hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau.
Want to learn more about getting rid of your troublesome timeshare? Call Wesley Financial Group now for your free consultation. Call 800-653-1188. That's 800-653-1188. 800-653-1188.
If you have pain, I hope you listen up. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of the side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you could be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com. mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the last time you ever have to worry about hair loss. Because Bosley is the real deal. They're giving women and men their hair back permanently. Their real hair. All it takes to get started is a single text message. You'll get an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card when you text TRUST to 85850. Bosley will show you, for free, how great your hair could look. You'll also see, for free, why you're losing hair and how to get it back. Women and men all over the country trust Bosley because they're America's #1 hair restoration expert. Ahead of the curve with the latest technology. And the best part? Bosley has permanent solutions to hair loss. You'll love what they'll do for your hair. So drop what you're doing long enough to send a text. Get your free information kit and gift card for $250 off by texting TRUST to 85850. Don't forget, that's TRUST to 85850.
Iran is moving a step closer to weapons-grade nuclear fuel. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, which could add to the rising tension with the U.S. Fox's Rachel Sutherland, live in Washington.
Dave, Iran is getting ready to break uranium stockpile limits set by the Obama-era nuclear deal that other countries are still signed on to, as it denies it attacked tankers near the Strait of Hormuz. The Trump administration is not ruling out military action. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on Fox News Sunday.
President Trump has done everything he can to avoid war. We don't want war. We've done what we can to deter this.
Tensions have been rising since President Trump pulled the U.S. out of the nuclear deal and started a maximum pressure campaign with sanctions targeting oil, Iran's main source of revenue. Dave?
Rachel, more Americans think the Trump campaign coordinated with Russia. 50% in a new Fox News poll. 43% want the president impeached and thrown out of office. 48% do not. The president insists there was no collusion and told ABC News he didn't try to fire people like Nixon did, trying to obstruct the special counsel. And he also claims Democrats committed crimes spying on him.
I would say that President Obama had to know about it.
Now, the poll also shows the top 5 in the Democratic race all lead President Trump head-to-head.
Former Vice President Joe Biden comes in first with a wide margin, with 49% of primary voters saying they'd vote for him over the president's 39%. Senators Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, and Mayor Pete Buttigieg also came in ahead of the president, although by a much smaller margin.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich, but Trump campaign spokesperson Kayleigh McEnany told Fox this morning.
Right now, the president is leading in all 17 swing states against a defined Democrat.
She would not confirm reports some pollsters have been let go because of internal polling that wasn't favorable to the president. Boeing's CEO is sorry, apologizing today for the loss of lives in 2 deadly crashes and for the disruption to airlines caused with the 737 MAX jet still grounded as they work on software fixes. This is Fox.
Cloudy, 56 degrees, 7:02 is our time on AM 560 The Answer. And good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Man is dead following a shooting and crash on Chicago's South Side. Police say officers found that victim last night in the driver's seat of an upside-down vehicle near 79th and Luella. He had been shot in the chest. The car appeared to have crashed into a few parked vehicles. Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson remains hospitalized after doctors found a small blood clot in his lung during routine testing. A department spokesman says Johnson is still hospitalized after being admitted on Friday. The federal death penalty trial of a former University of Illinois doctoral student charged with killing a 26-year-old visiting scholar from China is resuming today in central Illinois. Prosecutors present their case against 29-year-old Brent Christensen. He's accused of killing Yingying Zhang and luring her into his car in 2017. Prosecutors ended last week playing a secret recording of Christensen in which he tells a girlfriend he killed Zhang. A priest is being reinstated to his church on Chicago's North Side after being accused of sexually abusing a minor nearly 40 years ago. The Reverend Patrick Lee was removed as pastor of Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church in January as officials investigated an abuse allegation from 1979. Cardinal Blaise Cupich announced over the weekend Lee was being reinstated because the allegation was determined to be completely unfounded. A suburban Chicago sheriff's office is warning the public about a telephone scam, which a caller purports to represent the office and tells people they owe money for missed jury duty. A statement from the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office says they had several reports of the phony Sheriff's Office calls on Friday alone. The person who makes the call pretends to be with the Sheriff's Office. Dodgers hold on to beat the Cubs 3-2 in L.A. Yankees over the White Sox 10-3. Gary Woodland celebrating his first major on the PGA Tour, winning the 119th U.S. Open. The news service of Farmers Insurance at Farmers, they know a roof can withstand a lot. One exception being an airborne car. Seen it, covered it, talk to Farmers. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
That's what this radio show is. I tell you what I think, period.
The Joe Walsh Show.
And then you call in and you tell me what you think. And we don't have to fight with each other. We don't have to hurl insults at each other. We'll agree sometimes. We'll disagree sometimes. Big deal. To me, that makes for the most interesting radio. I'm going to tell you what I think, honestly. And I want you to do the same.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights, starting at 5, right before Larry Elder at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
All right, welcome to F-150 Radio. Call from Georgia. Chad, what's shaking in Macon?
I know the F-150 kicks butt and takes names.
Like how the high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy F-150 thrashes the competition with best-in-class towing and torque?
Mm-hmm, not surprised. Totally saw that coming.
Chad, how do you know so much about F-150 beating the competition?
I drive the competition. Got a 10-year lease.
Kind of embarrassing, huh?
Maybe I shouldn't advertise that fact on a national talk radio show.
Good call. The Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Best-in-class claims with properly configured vehicles. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds. GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
Now get a 2019 F-150 with 0% financing for 72 months. Only at your Ford dealer. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 0% APR financing for 72 months at $13.89 per month per 1,000 finance regardless of down payment. Program number 21040 on 2019 Ford F-150. Not available on Raptor. Residency restrictions apply. Take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 7/1/19. See dealer for qualifications and complete details.
This is David Hochberg with an important interest rate alert. Mortgage rates have dropped to their lowest levels in over a year. If your rate starts with a 4, call Team Hochberg now, not tomorrow or next week. Call 855-56-DAVID now to see if we could help you, as we did Dan, refinance his 6% mortgage. We refinanced Dan into a 15-year fixed loan, saved him over $100 a month, eliminated over $60,000 in mortgage payments, and covered all his closing costs. Let's review. Dan called Team Hochberg. We refinanced him into a 15-year fixed loan, lowered his payments over $100, and saved him over $60,000 in mortgage payments, and covered all his closing costs. Seriously, what are you waiting for? Stop procrastinating. Call Team Hochberg now, 855-56-DAVID, or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
At Farmers Insurance, we know every windshield collision has a unique sound. Beetle. Bird poop. Drone. Seen it, covered it. Talk to Farmers.
We are Farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
It is 7:07. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim.
Here's some good news on a Monday morning. Traffic is loosening up a bit on the inbound Eisenhower. There's a new roadwork configuration at the Burns Circle. After the overnight and weekend work, for a while it was actually down to one lane right before the circle. But things have opened up a bit. We're now looking at a travel time of 54 minutes, 390 to downtown. About a half hour quicker than it was. It's 40 minutes from Manheim to the Circle. Outbound 46 minutes downtown to 390. The Edens, 24 minutes Lake Cook to the Junction. Kennedy, 42 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 58. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95 to downtown. Northbound Tri-State delays are Crawford to past Cicero and from the Ike to North Avenue. That's traffic. I'm Alamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
The news, the service of Lowe's. Pros do it right to save 5% more every day by shopping at Lowe's, in-store or online. 5% on eligible purchases with your Lowe's Business Credit account. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's, subject to credit approval. Cannot be combined with other credit offers. Exclusions apply. See store for details. U.S. only. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, it's meteorologist Steve Williams.
Some patchy morning fog, otherwise cloudy today, high 66. Clouds tonight and a low 55. For tomorrow, clouds and breaks of sun, a bit warmer, high 78. Clouds and cooler showers on Wednesday with a high 70. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
55 at O'Hare, next news 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Retire Chicago. Tune in Saturday mornings at 8 to Retire Chicago with John McNamara of McNamara Capital.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, the intellectual leader of the Democrat Socialists, made her maiden appearance on This Week. Jonathan Karl sitting in. So the quality of the conversation more intelligent than it normally is in the week, thanks to Jonathan Karl. Yeah. And he asked her about impeachment, whether or not this is a must-do. This needs to start moving along, and Nancy Pelosi needs to start dragging her feet, and socialists are getting a little antsy, and here's what she said.
Well, I think every day that passes, the pressure to impeach grows, and I think that it's justifiable. I think the evidence continues to come in, and I believe that with the president now saying that he is willing to break the law to win re-election, that transcends partisanship, it transcends party lines, and this is now about the rule of law in the United States of America.
Well, if we're at this transcendent moment, then it's time for the speaker to hop to it, no?
So how real is that progressive frustration that Speaker Pelosi has said, at least so far, and she seems to be really holding the line that she's not ready to do that?
I think it's quite real. I believe that there is a very real animus and desire to make sure that we are that we are holding this president to account.
What have you told her about this?
Well, you know, I think we come together as a caucus and we have these conversations, and those, as the speaker likes to say, they are family conversations. They are ones that are held in confidence. But I do believe that that this is truly, again, and I've said this publicly, I've said it privately, I've said it when we subpoenaed the Attorney General and Secretary Ross today on the census, this week on the census, that this is about the rule of law.
Yes, the rule of law. For more on this topic and others, we're pleased to be joined by David Drucker, senior political correspondent for the Washington Examiner, WashingtonExaminer.com. David, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good to be here. Thank you.
So it's a family conversation. Is it really a family conversation? And AOC is the problem child, or does Nancy Pelosi find utility in backbenchers like AOC pushing the envelope on impeachment?
Well, it's a good question you're posing. It may be a mixture, but I do think that the speaker's sort of resistance to pushing headlong into impeachment is authentic. I think what she's worried about is that they would embark on a journey that doesn't have broad political support. Even though the president's numbers on issues about whether or not he's trustworthy, whether or not he might have skirted the law, whether or not people like some of the things that he has said about what he might do with information that was brought to him by a foreign power or, outside entity like that, doesn't have a lot of support and it bothers people. But, impeachment's a whole different matter. And it's not just a matter of the Senate wouldn't vote to remove him. For all of the poor numbers the president has on job approval and things related to that, there's not a broad support to actually impeach him. Now, I'm not sure if that is because people equate impeachment with removal and not just a very big censure, which in a sense, what impeachment is in and of itself is, it's pretty devastating and bad and all that stuff, but it's censure, it's not removal. That's when the Senate would vote on whether or not to remove. I think a lot of people equate impeachment with removal. and people are just not there. Removing a president by extra electoral means is a really big deal. We've never actually done it. And so I think the speaker is very cognizant of that. She understands politics. Whatever you think of her policy leanings, the woman understands politics very, very well, and I think that's why she's been resistant.
Well, she knows how Washington works, and of course, the Senate would be the jurors, and it's a Republican Senate. They wouldn't impeach, but AOC kept saying, but the House has to do their job, and what we need to do is start the impeachment process.
Right, and look, I think on the left, there's a lot of support for that line of thinking, and I think that's, one of the political challenges that the speaker faces. You talk to a lot of sort of the rank and file progressives and liberals and even some Democrats that are not necessarily super liberal. And there's, proceeding with an impeachment inquiry has currency with them. I mean, this is not something that's made up in terms of, where the support does exist. And I think that because the president has decided to fight, all of these subpoenas and all of these document requests, it makes it harder for Pelosi to push back on the notion that we need to, move forward first with a major investigation and then see where that takes us. There are a lot of Democrats that believe that an impeachment inquiry would legally make it easier for them to obtain a bunch of the information they've been trying to obtain. I don't know if that's true. Obviously, I don't know if the speaker believes that that's true, and maybe should be more open to it. But this is, these are a part of the discussions that they're having. Part of the issue Democrats have is they're having this discussion out in the open, and it makes it harder for them to then focus on, the things that Trump says and does that may be politically problematic with voters, because their sort of family discussion is playing out. It takes up a lot of the oxygen.
Right. It's sort of interesting to watch because they're so desirous to have Trump removed as soon as possible. They can't figure out which is the best rhetorical approach to take, the best market positioning. So on the one hand, it's impeachment, it's the rule of law. On the other hand, maybe there's some pullback if they think he's vulnerable, and with all the frothing at the mouth that was going on over the weekend about some leaked polling. But then there's also concern that if we don't do something, that he may win. So they can't figure out if they should be risk averse and sit on what maybe some people perceive as a lead, or they need to do something to reshuffle the deck in order to defeat him in November of 2020.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it. I think also it's just that they have fixed opinions about this. They just have different ones, right? So, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez believes they should proceed with impeachment proceedings. The politics be damned, so to speak. It's about the rule of law, and it's clearly deserved, and you should just do it no matter what. Yeah. Then you have people like the speaker who probably are, theoretically are not going to take an issue with the idea that he deserves to be under an impeachment inquiry, but, has bigger fish to fry. She wants to protect her House majority. She would like a Democrat to win the White House. And, politics, people would like to criticize the idea of operating politically, but you cannot affect policy without getting your political ducks in order, and she's aware of that. And then you have people who believe, and I've talked to Democrats like this, that the country would come along with impeachment if you would just do it. And it would allow the information to get out there, and it would put Trump under such a major scandal, so to speak, that it would make 2020 harder, even though, many on the left and the right believe it would actually put him in a better position for re-election because voters have rejected. So I think their opinions are heartfelt and fixed. It's just they're all over the place.
We have our first Democrat presidential debate this weekend. Other than a contest to see who despises Trump the most, what do you expect?
Well, obviously, it's going to be next week, Wednesday and Thursday, the final week of June. And I think really they're going to spar most of them are going to try and spar. I don't know how you spar with each other, but, I think they're very well aware of the fact that they need to win the nomination to take on Trump, and there are some front runners. And so for people that are way back in the polling, I think you'll see them go after other people on stage. I think Biden will come under a lot of attack. I think Bernie will come under a lot of attack. But when you have 10 people at a time, it's hard to have a developed debate about policy and all of that. So I think it's going to look a lot like some of the early Republican debates from 2016. And, it's going to be about sound bites and, trying to catch a viral moment that can put your campaign in a better place.
Now, you recently wrote an article for Vanity Fair about inside the GOP's operation to take down Joe Biden. What kind of opposition research are they getting on him or trying to obtain?
Well, look, he's been in politics for, 50 years? So they're going through everything, and they're not just looking for things that are new. They're looking for things that are out there that may not have mattered previously. Biden, he's never been a front runner for anything other than a Delaware Senate seat. And so all of a sudden, things that people may have glossed over in the past matter or might matter. And so they're going through everything they can find. And you have teams of Republican op research people doing this. And they're just hoping to dig up a lot of the things he said in the past, or things, that his family may have been involved in that nobody paid attention to, and just bringing it to light. Their main strategy is to make him unacceptable with Democrats so he never gets into the general election. So in many ways, they're functioning as the big op research department for every Democrat running for president that is not Joe Biden. But, if he does win the nomination, they want this stuff to be out there and at the ready so that they can shift and make him unacceptable in a battle with Trump.
He is David Drucker, senior political correspondent for the Washington Examiner, WashingtonExaminer.com. David, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Thank you.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Message and data rates may apply.
Ever look at your paycheck and think, there's gotta be a better way? Well, here's some news. There is, and I can show it to you. I'm Paula Sajan, star of A&E's hit TV show, Flip This House. My brother and I have taught thousands of people how to start making money in real estate. Now, it's your turn. Next week, we're conducting a free 2-hour educational workshop right here in Chicago, where you'll hear about my proven flipping systems that help you start flipping homes for profit in your spare time using other people's money, and how to get started flipping the script by putting money in your pocket with income opportunities. Real estate is a powerful tool that has made millions of people wealthy, but you can't start making your first dollar until you take your first step. Come to my free workshop and take advantage of this amazing opportunity. It could mean a lifetime of financial security.
To get 2 free tickets to Paul's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 37,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 37,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also reserve a free copy of Paul's Money for Deals guide. Just text your zip code to 37,000.
We're seeing the tide begin to shift in the country on the issue of life. It's happening in a lot of states with a number of heartbeat bills being signed into law. But one big exception is here in Illinois, of course, where lawmakers have removed almost all restrictions on abortions in the state. That's why it's more important than ever that women facing a crisis pregnancy have an option to choose life. That's where Heartbeat International comes in. Heartbeat International is the first network of pro-life pregnancy resource centers around the country. They're a nonprofit association of pregnancy centers, medical clinics, maternity homes, and nonprofit adoption agencies from across the nation. They're committed to making abortion unwanted and unthinkable. That's why they operate their toll-free option line. It's a simple phone number that any woman facing a crisis pregnancy center can call and get the help she needs to choose life. And right now, we're helping Heartbeat International keep the option line running. It costs about $75 an hour to run the option line, and we're asking for you to make a gift of $75 to sponsor 1 hour. That's all it takes to stop an abortion. Each day, more than 1,000 women call for help, and each call can mean the life of a baby is saved. To sponsor an hour, just go to saveababynow.com, that website, saveababynow.com, or call 800-999-7408 to make a $75 gift today. Your gift could be what it takes for a woman to choose life. Call today.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Oily stools. Okay. Balance of nature.
Oily stools. That I remember seeing them at Poplar Creek. They opened for Toad the Wet Sprocket, I think.
Balance of nature. Okay, we've got a great deal, so listen up towards the end of this ad to see how you could take advantage of the best offer ever of Balance of Nature. And your body needs Balance of Nature. Your body needs fruits and veggies because, admit it, you're not getting enough in your diet. And here's how Balance of Nature works. When you take the recommended 3-capsule dosage, your body receives as much nutrition as it would if you ate a salad that had 10 servings of salad with 31 different fruits and vegetables on it. It's just that easy. So you hear people talking all the time about Balance of Nature every day on the station, including me. Why? Because it works. Peyton and Eli started doing it. They love it. They feel stronger. They look better. Their skin looks better. Everything's good. So start living a healthier life today by taking Balance of Nature. And here's the deal you need to take advantage of before it's gone. For a limited time, you could receive a 30% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature, but you have to use the promo code Chicago. That's 30% off and free shipping when you call 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com, discount code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy and Health Corner, always looking to give you things to consider to improve your health. You were just reading Balance of Nature, of course.
Very healthy over here.
Sure. In addition to that, we've talked about these fad things like apple cider vinegar.
Yeah. Well, we were trying to slim you down for our trip to the Dominican. Or where do we go?
I'm just glad I survived the trip to the Dominican.
Oh, I know. Did you hear another person died?
Yeah. It's 5 now.
Another hard. No, it's 8.
Is it 8?
It's 8.
Oh.
But you have to take into the fact that 2.7 million Americans go to Dominican every year for vacations. So it's people that have died from a heart attack allegedly after drinking something from the mini bar.
No, there's something going on down there, and it's going to kill their tourism industry. So they better figure it out.
That and what happened to Poppy, Big Poppy.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, that doesn't help.
Speaking of healthy, though.
Yes. Back to the story, please.
There's a lot of people in Boulder, Colorado, who patronize the public library there, have wondered, what's that smell?
Oh, no.
We have an answer now.
Oh, no, don't.
The Urine Therapy of Colorado Meetup Group hosts monthly gatherings at the public library in Colorado to explore, learn about, and support others drinking urine or using it as a topical treatment.
Oh.
It's the fluid of your body that's being given to you, said one of the meetup goers. Another member said she had been using urine to treat ailments since 1983.
Can we get my mom, Louise, on the phone?
Look how well that's going.
She's always been talking about how people drink their urine in Africa and how it's good for you.
Is that right?
Stop that.
No.
Please, stop.
I mean, I've heard of like the urine jellyfish thing, which I think is a wives' tale.
No, that works. If you get stung by a jellyfish, if you can't find vinegar, put urine on it.
Or find the Urine Therapy of Colorado Meetup Group. In the morning, it's the first thing I do, said Indira Bhatt-Gupta. Let some part go, take the middle part, put it in my eyes, put it in my face, and then have some chai in the morning. That better be a single-use plastic straw. Or better not be, I should say. Better not be. It's banned in these parts.
Oh.
So look, let me give you the before you dismiss this out of hand. Let me give you the history here. Urine therapy dates back some 4,000 years.
See, my mom was correct.
It's called Shivambu.
Shivambu, dude.
If you just have to shift your perception about it. Now, people with actual medical degrees are not necessarily sold. One doctor suggesting that, urine isn't sterile and could be harmful because of the bacteria. So there is that.
Oh, yeah.
So If you're thinking about using urine as a topical treatment, rub it in your eyes, put it in your tea in the morning to give you a bit of a kickstart to the day, you may want to think about, I don't know, boiling it first to sterilize it.
Did you see the picture of the one urine enthusiast who goes swimming with urine in his goggles? He puts it in, he goes from here to here and puts it in his goggles because he thinks it's going to help his vision. Can I go home now?
It's a wonder drug.
I feel disgusting.
Look forward to Amy Jacobson being the soon-to-announced spokesperson for Urine Therapy of Colorado.
I've been hearing about this my whole entire life, okay?
From your mom?
I swear. Well, that's because she told me tribes in Africa drink it.
Does your mom subscribe to urine therapy?
Oh, gross.
Well, she's promoting it. I'm just asking a question. I don't know. Maybe we could have a first-person or a third-person account from a first-person account.
I want her to call in.
Yeah. All right.
So gross. But so is it healthier if you boil it first and then?
You know what's healthier? If you micturate and move on. That's what's healthier.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We've gone from the conservative mind to the conservative sensibility. Russell Kirk isn't available, so we'll talk to George Will about his new book at 7:37.
But first, let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Well, 2 former Cubs were purportedly
that's right.
On that scene.
Alonso, what was his name? Come on. Moises Alou. He
Moises
peed on his
Alou
hands
and-
to get a better grip on the ball.
Yeah, and Rich Hill, the pitcher, trying to cure blisters on his pitching.
Did Leon Durham have urine in his eyes when he blew that ground ball?
Good one. 55 degrees, cloudy skies, and we're watching developments this morning with the re-election campaign of President Trump. According to Fox News, firing some pollsters after leaks of polling information. Polling information that was leaked showed former Vice President Joe Biden leading Trump by double digits in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Florida, and Michigan. Trump wins over Hillary Clinton in those states, of course, provided decisive electoral college wins. Philadelphia police are looking for the man who shot up a graduation party, killing at least one person, wounding 7 others. About 60 people were at that party in southwest Philly when the gunman opened fire Sunday night. 4 of the teenage victims were teenagers, 4 in their early 20s. A man is dead following a shooting and crash on Chicago's South Side. Police officers investigating say they found the victim last night in the driver's seat of an upside-down vehicle near 79th and Luella. He had been shot in the chest, and the car appeared to have crashed into a few parked vehicles. We have an update for you this morning on Aqua, Illinois, whose customers in the south suburbs were warned over the weekend to avoid consuming tap water because of elevated lead levels. The utility company issued a do not consume advisory on Friday. Yesterday, Aqua said it would be safe to consume water in the arbors at Hickory Creek, Pinewoods Court, and at Governors State University. A Civil War reenactment at a Northeast Illinois forest preserve is back on after the event was temporarily canceled by a lone county official over his questions of its value. Forest Preserve District President Angelo Kyle in Lake County was forced to change his mind and put Civil War days at the Lakewood Forest Preserve in Wakanda back on the calendar in mid-July. Chicago sports, Dodgers hold on to beat the Cubs 3-2 in L.A. Yankees over the White Sox 10-3. Cubs are off today before hosting the crosstown rivals, the White Sox, tomorrow night. Gary Woodland is your 119th U.S. Open champion, clinching the victory Sunday at Pebble Beach with a 13 under par card, holding off 2-time defending champ Brooks Koepka. The news is a service of Farmers Insurance. At Farmers Insurance, they know every windshield collision has a unique sound. Beetle, bird poop, drone. Seen it, covered it. Talk to Farmers. 7:33, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You're listening to AM 560, The Answer, home of 7 of the top 100 radio talk hosts in America, according to Talkers Magazine. Congratulations to Joe Walsh.
I like that.
Larry Elder.
How do you do that?
Dennis Prager.
It should be obvious.
Sebastian Gorka.
That's very interesting.
Hugh Hewitt.
I got you already.
Mike Gallagher.
Honest to goodness.
And the number 1 talk show host in the country, Sean Hannity.
This is a little bit overboard.
The top talkers in America are talking right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Want to keep your AC from conking out? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an AC tune-up, ASAP. It can help pinpoint potential problems and even extend the life of your air conditioning system. How's that for a comforting thought? Right now, get cool savings on an AC tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
We're surrounded by noise, bombarded by information, messages struggling to get attention. So many ways to reach customers. Your message needs to cut through and stand out. For the resources and know-how to make it all work, there's Salem Surround. Get started with a free evaluation of your digital presence and some great ideas to increase your online visibility and revenue. Learn more at surroundchicago.com. Surroundchicago.com, connecting you with new customers.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Amanda Zanger, owner of Black Industrial and Safety Supply in Hammond, Indiana, and a business customer of Signature Bank. Prior to owning my own business, I worked for a major financial institution. So when it came time to finance the acquisition of Black, I approached a big bank, only to receive a solid no. That's when Signature Bank stepped in. With Signature Bank, the process was different. Signature provided creative financing options that enabled me to purchase Black and continue to grow the business. Thanks to Signature Bank, Black Industrial is able to continue serving Fortune 500 industry fabricators and contractors with tools and safety supplies as we have since 1893.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
A lost dog, not a lost cause. Read Catching Murphy, the latest book from the Associated Press, available now exclusively at Amazon.com.
7:35. The AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Reagan Tollway, eastbound I-88. Traffic is gummed up. Farnsworth to Mill Street, there was a vehicle fire. All lanes have reopened. The inbound Eisenhower has actually improved after some massive delays earlier. Right now, the travel time is 50 minutes from 390 to downtown, 35 from Manheim. Outbound 40 minutes to 390. Eden's 21 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction. Kennedy 38 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound is 54 minutes. Westbound 190 is heavy at the airport. Stevenson 58 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 18 minutes, 90 to the Merge, Bishop 425. The northbound Veterans Memorial delays on 63rd, much of the way to St. Charles. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Areas of morning fog, cloudy skies, 67 this afternoon for a high temp. Mainly cloudy and 55 overnight. 56 right now. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshale Financial Group.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy and George Will, Pulitzer Prize winner, columnist for the Washington Post, commentator for NBC, MSNBC, has a new book out.
Cubs fan.
Cubs fan.
Don't leave that out of the resume.
Well, just baseball fan in general, Cubs fan specifically. I myself prefer the White Sox, as you know.
Our crosstown rivalry starts tomorrow, Dan.
But conservatism has brought us together, and George Will has a new book out called The Conservative Sensibility. We're pleased to welcome George Will back to the program. Thanks so much for joining us, George. Appreciate it.
Glad to be with you.
So the conservative sensibility, it sort of calls to mind, at least to me, first blush, the conservative mind. And I wonder how we've moved from mind to sensibility. I hope we're not down the road of sentimentality in your book.
No, by sensibility, I mean more than an attitude, but less than an agenda. I didn't want to write a book telling people what to think, but suggesting rather how to think about the complexities of society. This is not just another Washington book, in other words.
No,
well,
that's clear.
You haven't written a book in 5 years, so why now?
Well, I have a feeling the country rightly thinks that things have gone off the rails with the government, that something's wrong institutionally. I'm not just talking about who's up and who's down in the politics of the moment, but that for 100 years now, progressives have been criticizing the founding, particularly the separation of powers, all in an attempt to unleash the president. Progressives assumed that it would always be one of them occupying the White House: Teddy Roosevelt, Woodrow Wilson, Franklin Roosevelt, Lyndon Johnson. Now they have someone they're not fond of occupying an office that has been, for 80 years now, increasingly emancipated from any control by Congress, and I don't think they're happy with it.
And so you would argue, going back to sort of the nation's founding, that this is the opportune time for conservatives to reassert constitutional principles limiting the power of the president when one of theirs is in, as it were.
Limiting the power of the president, but also limiting the power of the government. The founders had a very clear understanding about the proper scope and actual competence of government. Progressives somehow reason that the more complicated society gets, the more we need government to intervene and regulate society. It's exactly the reverse. The more complicated society gets, the more government interventions are apt to confirm the law of unintended consequences, which is that the unintended consequences of intervention in a complex society are apt to be larger than and opposite to the intended ones.
Have we conservatives been drawn into the left's trap, as it were, by obsessing about government, its size and scope? I mean, Russell Kirk in The Conservative Mind observed that if you want to have order in the Commonwealth, you first have to have order in the individual soul. Would conservatives be wiser to focus on what you're sort of doing with your book, which is suggesting a way to think about a complex society, think about a way you should live in a free society, and do more of letting the politics take care of itself?
Quite right. One of the things Kirk said correctly was that to conservatives, politics is not the center of life. And I'm afraid too many conservatives nowadays think of, as you say, sort of by the progressive view of the world, which is that we must define ourselves by our political allegiances. Conservatives know that politics is important, but it also should be somewhat at the margin of life.
Do you, or have you ever thought of President Trump as a conservative?
I never have, and frankly, to give him credit for candor, neither is he. He made a point during the 2016 campaign of noting that he said it's called the Republican Party, not the Conservative Party. He's not a man of theory, and this book of mine is a book about the ideas that got us here, and about disorientation of our institutions, the supine Congress shedding powers that it has no right to shed, that have been going on for 80 years, long before Mr. Trump arrived.
Yeah, and so with respect to that, this challenge we seem to have both within Republican Party elected ranks as well as within the punditocracy and those that are ascendant who know some of the talking points but haven't read many, if any, of the books. Do you look at across the landscape and see either particular pundits or particular elected officials that have done the backstory, that have done the background, have done the homework, and actually are trying to operate on a basis of theory that people that could be in the leadership position for the party and the movement to kind of carry it forward in the direction you're suggesting?
I think, first of all, I'd cite two senators who seems to me are showing up well in this. One is Senator Ben Sasse of Nebraska, a Yale PhD in history, who's written two excellent books about the condition of the American culture now and what he decries as the vanishing American adult. And I would also cite Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania, a Republican senator who's been very good about trying to prod other members of the Senate to claw back some of the power that Congresses under both parties have recklessly given to presidents of both parties. So this is not a partisan complaint. This is a bipartisan failure.
Thinking about culture, about a decade before the fall of the Roman Republic, historian Livy observed that Rome was going to fall because it was in a position where it could no longer endure its vices or their cures. Do you think that that's where we are at?
That is very astute. For all the talk we hear about the discord in America, and Lord knows it's real enough, what alarms me is a consensus in Washington. It's as broad as a republic and it's as deep as the Grand Canyon. It is simply this: we should have a large, generous entitlement state and not pay for it. Everyone's agreed. I mean, here we are at full employment, at approaching 3% economic growth, and we're still running $1 trillion deficit. Now think about this. What's going to happen when the next recession begins and we start at $1 trillion deficits? And when we start at low interest rates and so cannot stave off the recession by cutting interest rates? It's going to be very interesting. Now, some people may think the president has outlawed the business cycle. If he had, I don't think his native modesty would have prevented him from mentioning it.
You wrote a piece recently in the Washington Post, I assume consistent with the book, The Conservative Sensibility, sort of asking the question whether or not the individual is obsolete after the infamous incantation that you didn't build that from the previous president. So in the era of identity politics, or even many on the center right seem susceptible, is the individual obsolete?
Well, I think that's the biggest worry we have. The root philosophic worry is the attempt to say that because we are, as individuals, situated in a social setting, we are somehow merely the products of our culture. Woodrow Wilson explicitly told the American people, he said, do not read the first two paragraphs of the Declaration of Independence. He dismissed it as 4th of July boilerplate. What he was really dismissing was the natural rights doctrine. And the way to get rid of the natural rights doctrine, which inherently limits government, is to deny there is a fixed human nature. The founders insisted there was. The progressives say no. Every individual is simply a reflection of an absorber of the culture in which he or she is situated. Therefore, government, by manipulating the culture, can create a new human nature, a new human being. This is the vaulting ambition that makes government most dangerous.
Well, and the interesting thing about that, and we see this play out in Illinois all the time. On the one hand, there's this immanentizing the eschaton thing at play. On the other hand, it's very cynical, the big government politicians. So, for example, Illinois, which just recently legalized dope, the state senate president said, hey, look, people are going to do it anyway, so we might as well make some money on it. And that should be our new slogan, by the way. That should replace Land of Lincoln. People are going to do it anyway, so we should make some money on it. But we're seeing that play out.
Put it on the license plate.
Really, we're seeing that play out all over the place. People are just they're just revenue sources for the state. That's all they are. And you have these predatory government policies. I would argue New York is moving to legalize prostitution. Hey, they're going to do it anyway, so we might as well make some money on it, get our cut, wet our beaks. That's what's going on.
I would have thought the criminal law was to tell people there's certain things you shouldn't do, and there are penalties if you do them. Illinois, I hate to say it, is becoming a caricature, and I expect that in the next 5 years, there's going to be a constitutional moment when Illinois realizes it cannot grow its way back to solvency. and it's going to come to Washington looking for a bailout, and it's going to find that the Senate, happily, which represents all the states, is going to find a lot of people who say, well, I don't think the people of Wyoming ought to bail out the people of Illinois. So it's going to be a serious crisis.
Well, and you think that'll happen in the next 5 years?
I think so. I mean, when you look at the trajectory of the public sector pensions and other entitlements in the state of Illinois, I do not see how you slow their growth relative to the growth of the Illinois economy. After all, the Illinois government has been the best government Indiana, Missouri, Wisconsin has had because of all the people fleeing to more congenial surroundings.
But you're forgetting one thing, George. The thing you're forgetting is that in Illinois, math is just an opinion. So you can just disagree with it. You just disagree and it goes away.
Math is fake news.
That's exactly. George Will, columnist for the Washington Post, commentator for NBC, MSNBC, Pulitzer Prize winner, of course. His new book, The Conservative Sensibility. George, thanks for joining us. Good luck with the book.
Thanks. Enjoyed being with you.
Take care.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
For more than 50 years, Mueller CPA, a certified public accounting and business advisory firm, has been serving clients in Chicagoland. Dave Nissen, Mueller's managing partner, is here to explain Mueller CPA's history, journey, and opportunity.
Thanks, Dan. Our firm was started by Al Mueller as a one-person CPA firm in 1968. Through growth and partnerships, Mueller CPA has blossomed from a regional firm to an organization that provides services worldwide. Mueller is a reflection of our years of listening and caring for our clients, and we would not be here today if it wasn't for our professionals and support personnel. We value the human side of our business and recognize it as being the most important element of our success. We are growing, we are hiring, and we welcome your interest in our firm.
If you are looking for your first opportunity or your forever career, join an award-winning team that cares about you. Visit the career page at MuellerCPA.com or call Dave directly at 630-524-5274.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I'm loving my Balance of Nature. Since I started, I have not gotten one cold. I kind of fight everything. I get a little tickle, but it goes away.
It's just amazing the difference I felt. I want you to know how much I appreciate the counseling and so forth and your attention to your people. I have been a pretty big advocate for the Balance of Nature. I don't know how many truck drivers have asked me, how in the heck do you keep going at 88, 89 years old? I said, Balance of Nature. If they want to really enjoy some good health, get on Balance of Nature.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. For a limited time, you can receive a 30% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
When the world is watching and you need your logo perfectly printed on promotional items, you need the ultimate guarantee. You need certainty. To know for certain it'll be right the first time, on the right items, at a great price. You need the promotional product experts at 4imprint. Because as soon as something has your logo on it, it matters to you, your customers, your coworkers, and to us. From pens and caps to hot tech and popular brands, 4imprint's wide selection always changes to keep up with the latest trends. But there is one thing we've delivered for over 30 years that's timeless: certainty. Because the world is certainly watching. Explore thousands of promotional products at 4imprint.com. That's the number 4imprint.com. 4imprint. For certain.
Custom designed and constructed homes are only as good as their foundation. Likewise, choosing a custom home builder to build your forever family home is the foundational decision for the biggest investment of your life. Trust the experience and vision of McNaughton Development to make your dream home a reality. McNaughton has a proven track record of building high-quality, award-winning custom-designed homes throughout the Chicagoland suburbs and will guide you through every aspect of the home building process, from finding the perfect lot to working with preferred architects, project managers, and in-house designers for selections and customizations, to a successful walkthrough and close of your forever home. Find out more about partnering with McNaughton Development to turn your home vision into a reality. Visit LuxuryCustomConstruction.com to explore everything currently available, including Lakeside Point and Waterview Estates of Burr Ridge, Copperleaf of Downers Grove, Chestnut River Point of Naperville, Bluff Point of Orland Park, and Madison Estates of Hinsdale. LuxuryCustomConstruction.com.
So you sit down and do your budget, and you look at all your monthly costs and your bills and your income, and it seems like there's never quite enough. You know what would really help? Finding $500 a month to help balance things out. That is the typical savings, $500 a month for a family when you switch to MediShare for your health care. And when it comes to healthcare sharing ministries, MediShare is really the gold standard. It's been around for 25 years and has more than 400,000 members. It's been around so long and grown so much because it works. And whether you're single or married or have kids, this could make sitting down to do a monthly budget a lot more fun. $500 a month can more than cover a car payment or pay back loans, whatever. So join MediShare and go out to dinner to celebrate. Here's the number to call. They are incredibly kind and helpful to talk to. 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE. 844-41-BIBLE.
Attention, this is a money-making opportunity. Are you interested in making active and passive income each month flipping real estate tax liens? Then listen to this. The ProSource Tax Lien Company is offering a free tax lien flip kit, which contains educational videos and a step-by-step report that will show you how to earn government-secured returns up to 18%. Plus, see how you can access tax lien inventory not available to the public. So if you want to become a real estate investor without swinging a hammer or being a landlord, then text QUICK to 31000 now to get your free tax lien flip kit. And get ready to learn how to flip tax liens and acquire houses well below wholesale prices for big profits. All from home working part-time. Text QUICK to 31000 right now to get your free tax lien investor kit, plus 2 free tickets to a live training event, which includes a free smartwatch just for attending. Text QUICK to 31000. That's QUICK to 31000 for your free tax lien kit now. Individual results may vary.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and first Mr. Ratburn from the Arthur Show, and now Two Little Ponies. They're going gay. The writers of My Little Pony have confirmed that the latest season of the show will see 2 new characters, Aunt Holiday and Aunt Lofty.
Who look after Scootaloo. You know My Little Pony.
My little pony, my little pony. I comb and brush her hair. My little pony, my little pony. Tie a ribbon to show how much I care.
No, I know of it from our producer Quinn, who's a brony.
Oh,
remember the
that's right.
bronies?
Yeah, refresh my memory. The bro.
Dudes who like My Little Pony.
Well, they're kind of like comic or furries,
And
but they're not furries. They're bromies.
and they probably like the new and improved Mr. Ratburn too, and his special friend.
Well, what's the problem with this? It's on Arthur's on PBS. It's been around for 22 seasons. They've never before had a gay couple, but everyone now is celebrating Gay Pride Month. So just throw it in there.
Every show should be required by law to have at least one gay couple, probably one trans character as well. I mean, just, to advance the culture. It's the reason why you have surveys that suggest people believe a quarter of the U.S. population is gay.
And what is it, 1%?
Under
2%?
2, the whole LGBTQ diaspora, under 2%, because it's everywhere, and it's celebrated. Okay. And of course,
don't forget, we had the Gay Pride Parade in our neighborhood.
Well, your neighborhood, yeah,
my neighborhood. It should be moved downtown, like every other parade has been moved.
Yeah, I mean,
but we have different rules.
We've had some people suggest too.
It makes me sick.
We've had some gay people suggest too, including callers to this show. I'm more than my sexuality. To which the culture is telling you, no, you're not. I mean, this is the whole 30 days going gay in solidarity with the LGBTQ. You think that's a compliment to people who are gay? I'm gonna do what you do for 30 days. I'm gonna be attracted to who you're attracted to for 30 days in solidarity with you.
I know.
I'm sorry. What's the struggle exactly in 2019 America? Oh, by the way, when you focus on sexuality to the exclusion of academics, even in the most woke school district in the state of one of the most woke states, right, Illinois? I get tired of you. Evanston School District 65 Superintendent Paul Gorin.
Yeah.
He gone.
What happened?
3 years into a 5-year strategic plan to improve performance, the share of students at Evanston Skokie District 65 meeting or exceeding college readiness benchmarks has declined in both reading and math. Oh, and a lot of those parents in Evanston Skokie don't like it because it's great for, the kindergartners to learn about anal sex. Excuse me for being graphic, but we've had the PowerPoint presentations from that district. We've talked about them on this show. You can ignore it all you want. That's what's happening in grammar school, in school districts around the state. Yeah. So it's all great that Johnny and Sally are learning about every sexual orientation and sexual behavior in the primary grades. But, oh, gosh, all of a sudden their readiness in math and reading suffered. Golly, I wonder if anybody in District 65 can connect those dots.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Prof parenting tip, should we be more or less like Mark Zuckerberg with our kids at 8:08?
But first, let's head straight into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Aqua Illinois issues a water advisory and some improvements for the south suburbs. CPD Superintendent Johnson recovering after being hospitalized with a blood clot. Man charged with abuse allegations has been reinstated as a Chicago priest. Aaron Schock says, nope, not running for Congress, at least not yet. Dodgers defeat the Cubs. Yankees hammer the White Sox as they call up their top pick from 2016 catcher Zach Collins. Areas of morning fog burning off. WIND Chicago News Time. It's 8 o'clock.
He's very confident. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Safety, security, great economy, and I think I've done more than any other first-term president ever.
President Trump on ABC News as he gets ready to formally kick off his re-election campaign tomorrow with a rally in Orlando. Amid reports, some pollsters were removed over bad internal numbers. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
Trump campaign press secretary Kayla McEnany calling reports of unfavorable internal polls for the president old news. She told Fox and Friends they were accurate, but were from March.
And they were the most unfavorable turnout model. We have to predict who's going to turn out. So this is the most pro-democratic turnout model you could see.
McEnany would not confirm any personnel decisions after reports this weekend that the Trump campaign fired a couple of polling companies because they leaked those internal polls to some news outlets. The president has maintained he's leading in every poll that his campaign has taken. Dave?
Johnny is trailing in a new Fox News poll.
I am beating President Trump fairly decisively, which is consistent with all of the polling that I have seen.
Bernie Sanders and 4 of the other top Democrats lead President Trump head-to-head. Sanders second in the Democratic race at 13%. Joe Biden far out in front with 32 in the Fox poll, which also shows 43% want the president impeached and removed from office. 48% oppose that. Iran ruffling more feathers, saying this month it'll exceed the limit set out in the international nuclear deal the U.S. pulled out of for stockpiling uranium, and it'll enrich that fuel to near weapons grade, as Secretary of State Pompeo keeps blaming Iran for last week's oil tanker attack.
We will continue to take actions that deter Iran from engaging this kind of behavior.
Our European foreign ministers are urging maximum restraint. Police in Philadelphia keep searching for whoever shot up a graduation party last night, killing 1 person, injuring 7 others, some of them teenagers.
There was nothing that suggested there was a fight that preceded this, at least according to the people here.
Police Chief Richard Ross Jr. This is Fox News.
Skies are gray. We've had some early morning fog, but that is pretty much burned off by now. 8:02 is our time on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson remains hospitalized but improving after doctors found a small blood clot in his lung during routine testing last Friday afternoon. He was immediately admitted to Rush University Medical Center for observation. The testing was being done as Johnson approaches the 2-year anniversary of his kidney transplant. A number of Aqua Illinois customers in the south suburbs are being warned to avoid consuming tap water because of elevated lead levels. Aqua provided an update yesterday saying that since Friday, it is now safe to consume water in the arbors at Hickory Creek, Pinewoods Court, and Governor's State University. Former Peoria Congressman Aaron Schock not looking to go back to Capitol Hill, at least not yet. Schock's camp quickly doused rumors and he's planning for another run for Congress. Some fans of Whataburger say they don't want founders of that chain to sell out to a Chicago-based investor. The Dobson family announcing they're selling their majority stake in the company to BBT Capital Partners to help fund the chain's expansion. Subsequently, several Texans have fired back, including Houston Texans player and Wisconsin native J.J. Watt, who says in a tweet he wants to help the family any way he can to buy the chain back. Dodgers hold on to beat the Cubs 3-2. Yankees beat the White Sox 10-3. Cubs are off today, as are the Sox. Cubs host the crosstown rival White Sox tomorrow night. 8:03. It is time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Pfizer is expanding its cancer business. It is buying Array BioPharma, which makes treatments specifically for skin cancer. It's also working on treatments for colon cancer. Pfizer is paying $11.4 billion. Airbus will make a new single-aisle, mid-size, long-range jet. It unveiled the A321XLR at the Paris Air Show. It can fly up to 4,700 nautical miles and will be ready in the year 2023. American Airlines claims its dispute with mechanics has reached a crisis point, and it's seeking a temporary restraining order to prevent unions from slowing repair work. The airline sued the mechanics union last month, alleging a work slowdown. The unions deny American's allegations and say the lawsuit is an attempt to prevent contract talks. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity sees Mueller's statement as nonsense.
So he tries to go out there and basically hang a cloud over President Trump, and he thinks he's being skillful in what he is doing here, and it ends up just backfiring and blowing up in his face.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
All right, if your roof's needy, you can call Crumweedy. Hey, Sean Hannity here. If your roof is leaky, if the shingles are curling, or if your roof isn't right after storms, then you need to call Crumweedy with roofing companies, and the difference is, of course, installation. Now, Crumweedy, they know that, and that's why they follow the manufacturer's specifications, so your warranty is totally intact, and many companies don't do that, and that could void your warranty. If you hate high-pressure sales tactics, not from Crumweedy. They give you good, better, best options. You make the choice, no pressure. Crumweedy is a roof that lasts at a fair price. Now, Mark Olson and Greg Olson of Crumweedy, they lead this third-generation family business that's been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953. Now, they fix roof problems, so if your roof is needy, call Crumweedy. That's 630-595-8020. That's 630-595-8020. They're online, of course, at myroofisneedy.com.
All right, welcome to F-150 Radio. Call from Georgia. Chad, what's shaking in Macon?
I know the F-150 kicks butt and takes names.
Like how the high-strength military-grade aluminum alloy F-150 thrashes the competition with best-in-class towing and torque?
Mm-hmm, not surprised. Totally saw that coming.
Chad, how do you know so much about F-150 beating the competition?
I drive the competition. Got a 10-year lease.
Kind of embarrassing, huh?
Maybe I shouldn't advertise that fact on a national talk radio show.
Good call. The Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Best-in-class claims with properly configured vehicles. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds GVWR based on Ford segmentation.
Now get a 2019 F-150 with 0% financing for 72 months. Only at your Ford dealer. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 0% APR financing for 72 months at $13.89 per month per thousand finance regardless of down payment. Program number 21040 on 2019 Ford F-150. Not available on Raptor. Residency restrictions apply. Take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 7/1/19. See dealer for qualifications and complete details.
8:07, and in the AM 560 traffic center, here is Jim Talamonte.
Eastbound Reagan Tollway traffic is jammed. 31 Mill Street. There was an earlier vehicle fire. The inbound Eisenhower is heavy, but not as heavy as it was earlier. There's a new roadwork configuration at the Bird Circle. 57 minutes is the drive time, 390 to downtown, 38 for Manheim. Eden's 19 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 31. Kennedy, 46 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, but heavier in the express, outbound 50 minutes to the airport. Stevenson, an hour and 7 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Tri-State, it's stop and go 21 to Deerfield Road. Northbound from the Stevenson past the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Ike to Lawrence. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte. On AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. It comes to us from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center's Steve Williams.
Some patchy fog around this morning, otherwise a cloudy day, high 66. Cloudy tonight, low 55. Clouds and breaks of sun, warm day tomorrow, high 78. Cloudy, cooler showers on Wednesday with a high 70. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
We are up a tick, 57 now at O'Hare. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
It's time for Dan Proft's parenting tips. Whoa! Dan Proft's parenting tips. Whoa! Tell your kids to shut up and listen to him.
You're a child. Dan and Amy, and I'm offering up this parenting tip from Bethany Mandel. I'll offer it up for discussion before I comment on it.
Okay, please call in 312-642-5600 is our Turnkey.Pro answer line.
Here is her parenting tip.
Okay.
Parents should adopt a rule when it comes to technology. If the individuals who created a device or social network won't post their children on it, neither will I.
That's right, because Mark Zuckerberg has a few kids. I've never seen them on there.
Mandel points out Zuckerberg and his wife, Priscilla Chen. The last time Zuckerberg posted a photo of their two children on Facebook was Thanksgiving, more than 8 months ago. Chan posted a shot at the end of April, an overhead photo of her daughter, Max, playing a game. Notably, she seems to have never publicly posted a photo of either of her kids' faces. She goes on. Snapchat CEO Evan Spiegel's child, Hart, not a single photo on his wife Miranda Kerr's Instagram account, even though she has 12 million followers. No baby photos she shared. Tech titans like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs famously limit their kids' access to technology. Last year, Apple CEO Tim Cook, I don't have a kid, but I have a nephew that I put some boundaries on. There are some things that I won't allow. I don't want them on a social network. His nephew was 13 at the time.
Now, what do they know that we don't?
Well, I think what they know is what we do know. We know from a number of studies that we've talked about at this show that social media and its use, arguably overuse to the point of obsession, is harmful. It's harmful to kids' intellectual development. It's harmful to their social development. And it's not just limited to kids. And so you have some of these tech titans who are aware of what can happen, people who use the platform significantly, and so they're pulling their kids back from it. And I mean also just sort of the nature of this public space with hundreds of millions of people. And do you want everybody, I mean, the other thing that's a little bit different for them, does Mark Zuckerberg and his wife, do they want everybody knowing what their kids look like, too?
Well,
I mean, they're targets for other reasons.
To kidnap their kids and hold them for ransom because they're millionaires, billionaires.
Possibly. I mean, they're just targets, paparazzi and the like. So it's a little bit different for them in that aspect, but I don't think it's limited to just concern about paparazzi or criminal activity.
Well, do you think that if your kids are older that you should ask them their permission before you post pictures of them online because they call it sharenting. Get it? You're sharing instead of parenting, you're sharenting. Because there's some people on Facebook, I don't care about your kid. And I don't think that you should have daily updates about their, cancer procedures and things like that. I just think it's too much. There's nothing sacred anymore. There's no boundaries anymore, especially when you get onto Facebook and certain other social media sites, it's too much.
So, well, first of all, if they're adolescents or younger, I mean, this isn't a conversation. This is a decision that will be made by mom or dad. I mean, that's how it should be. Right. Well, how do you deal with Peyton and Eli?
I try to post as little as possible about him. I do. But then, he just graduated on Friday, so I posted a group picture of him and his graduates.
Yeah.
But as a coach, I don't want to post anything because they're not my children. So I've made a rule not, if I do it's something generic where you can't see their faces.
And what about limiting their use of technology and your social platforms?
Not good. I have to say, well, the summertime's the worst time because they have a lot of time on their hands to be on. They Snapchat the story. Do you know what stories are? They always keep saying, "I put it in my story."
Yeah.
Do you know what they make a story,
Update.
but then it disappears. So
right.
I don't know what that's called, and I'm looking to just
updating your story. Is that
yeah?
So.
But then they said it disappears. I put a mom, but they'll ask me if they can put me on their story. And I said, well, is this one that disappears? They said, yeah, it disappears. Only a few people will see it. Like if I'm doing something funny with Bunky, they'll ask me first for my permission before they put me up on something.
So they're parenting you, is what I'm hearing. They're regulating your social media usage.
What's the story? Is that on? Do you know what the story is?
Snapchatting does disappear. That's the advantage of Snapchat over Facebook and Twitter and so forth.
But does it really disappear though? Can they screenshot it? I mean, that's the whole...
Well, I guess you can screenshot it within. There's a certain time right there. It's not. You're on the clock with Snapchat, and then it disappears.
Snapchat and Instagram both on their story features. You have 24 hours to watch the story, or on Instagram it archives, and Snapchat, I guess, it completely disappears. And I say that with quotes in the air.
There's our millennial
is.
On the scene there, social media correspondent / tech producer, Justin. Yeah.
/ threat.
So there you go. But so
on a skateboard, yeah.
Well, and so what about that? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. There's this other concern, too, is, again, who else is online? You have a lot of predators online, right? I mean, how many stings to catch a predator back in the day? And it's even more ubiquitous now. And so concern about, frankly, pedophiles perusing online, looking for people, young kids to try and communicate with. That's a danger too.
I don't know. What do you do with your hypothetical children?
I just post about myself because I'm an egomaniac, so I don't need to worry about my kids, my fictional kids, and I'll post a little bit about my dog because Hi can take care of himself.
But the craziest thing, so the other day I'm mulching my front yard, and this man walks by.
Mulching your front
yard? I know,
yard.
This sounds great. Well,
you hire people for that.
I don't hire people. I do it myself with one hand. And I yelled out because I had Bunky off leash, and I yelled out, "Bunky, come here." And he stopped dead in his tracks. He said, "Is that Bunky from AM 560? And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Are you Amy?" And I said, "Well, yeah, because we're together." He just, because we talked about our dogs. He said, "Is Hayek here?" I said, "No, Hayek's using the washroom."
Sure. Yeah.
He's in the backyard using the washroom.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, even if we talk about our dogs, people know about our dogs.
Well, they should. Everybody should know about Hayek.
Because he's brilliant.
He's the best-looking hound in the city.
He is cute.
You want to take a gander at that. You want to see what a dog looks like.
Oh, a real dog.
Yeah, a real dog. Not some evolutionary mistake.
Oh, stop it.
Grotesque bulldogs.
There's a little overbreeding going on.
Yeah,
but
inbreeding and
or
overbreeding.
That too. Yeah, but he'll be just fine.
No, but I think, I mean, it's interesting to me because, as I said before, there's more and more scholarship about the negative impacts. And I assume if you have children and they are on social media, you have a sense of it too because of all of the, juvenile business that goes on in social media that gets people all worked up, people upset. I didn't get invited to this party. Somebody said something negative about me on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, and and that's forever because it's on the internet. So
they feel like it'll never go away. And there's
cyberbullying, which is an overused phrase. Anything involving bullying is an overused phrase, but there is that aspect of it too. So why would you want your kid unduly sucked into that universe? Exactly. Yeah, that's all. So maybe, in this case, the Zuckerbergs are onto something, even though, it's a little bit of Dr. Frankenstein here. Brooke in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan. Just so you know, mulching your front yard it creates grit. Okay, so kudos to Amy.
Thank you
for doing that work yourself.
I don't even know I still don't know what you're talking about.
Calluses on my hand.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Makes me more of a man. That's what Brooke is saying.
That's right.
All right.
That's
We'll have you come over and do some work on the well-appointed lawn around Lake Point Tower. All right.
Yeah, like I was going to say, it's like, what, 1 by 1?
Yes, exactly.
A couple things. So this is a very sensitive topic for me because even right now, being on the radio, if someone was listening and they heard my name and where I was from, they would know who I am. I went as far as two things. On the internet, I went as far as if someone made a comment about the fact that I was glowing, which implies that you're pregnant, I asked them to remove the comment because I want as little of a trace of my son on the internet as possible. And it went so far that when I sent out my Christmas cards and I included an announcement because I had him late last fall, that I had a couple people on my Christmas card list that didn't even know I was pregnant. And until they got the announcement, they had no idea. And these are people, so I keep it pretty exclusive now as a result. And the other thing, and one of the reasons why it's sensitive, is my mom. You get these middle-aged to older folks who get on the internet or on the social media, and I feel like they're almost worse than millennials because they share everything, kind of to the point you guys were saying before. And it's more about sharing than it is really genuinely being in the moment. And so she to this day will still ask me, when can I share pictures? When can I share pictures? And I just I don't think it's necessary, especially since I feel like I'm defending them. Like they don't get a choice to say no.
But what is your disposition against sharing anything on social media about your kids to begin with, I guess is my question.
Well, I want them the opportunity to make the decision, first of all. And second of all, you guys nailed it right on the head. If those, and you read however many articles about it, if those guys are unwilling to do it, why would I do it?
Yeah.
I just don't want to trace. I don't want to trace of them, and I'm sure it'll happen eventually, especially if I came from a sports family, so it's inevitable, potentially, that if they're successful in sports, that they'll be recognized. But in that point in time, that's a totally different story. I don't know. You guys made a lot of really great points, and I think you're hitting it right on the head. And I got so fired up because this is there was an article I read about it last night about technology and kids, and so I just think that it's a sensitive subject for people, but there's also a social stigma that comes with it because it created conflict with my mom and I. Or I had a friend, she accidentally tagged me on Instagram. She took a picture of our kids, and so I had to ask them to remove. And people want to know why. They're curious. And one of the things that I have noticed is that people respect and admire the discipline that it takes to say no. And I know that sounds like a dorky, like I was in fourth grade and I said no to cigarettes, but it's like the same thing because it's like a drug, and so people respect it. But they're I love that. That's amazing. But I don't have the discipline to do it myself because it's just easier. It's just easier to share.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Brooke. Appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, look, I think that's right, and this isn't limited to kids, but it's more sensitive, I think, with kids, particularly your own. But I mean, again, we talked to that columnist from Gizmodo.
Oh, that's right.
Who gave up all of the big tech platforms, each one for a week, and then all of them together for a week. and how much she wrote about how much it changed her life, and it was revealing to her, both sort of disconnecting, detoxing, if you will, from social media to some extent. It complicated her life. Things weren't as easy because she wasn't using platforms that she'd been accustomed to use to communicate with friends, to stay in touch with friends, to use for work-related purposes as well. So there was some adjustment period, but then she also found that she spent a lot more quality time with her family and enjoyed that more, and had sort of not realized how much she had missed that. So her basic takeaway was just it's a little bit more balancing with respect to being an adult in terms of how you use it. I mean, I just go back again to these things, though, because this is the discussion we've had before with Facebook Live and so on and so forth. They're neutral communication channels. I mean, they don't have a disposition. I mean, the minders of them do. Yeah. But in terms of your use of them or not, and how, and the ecosystem that it creates, I mean, it's a reflection on humanity. I say it's not the channel, it's not the communication channel, it's the communicators. So I just think about that too in the context of the whole censoring and participation debate that's going on, including with some conservatives now arguing for Department of Justice regulation and prosecution of social media companies. And then the last thing, this going back to the outset of this, where these social media and tech giants aren't posting about their kids and use their own platform in a limited fashion. It reminds me of Chicago public school teachers who send their kids to private school. It's not, what do they know that we don't know? It's what are they doing about what we all know?
Right.
But we just sometimes refuse to acknowledge because we're protecting our turf. Chicago public school teachers refuse to acknowledge what's happening in CPS, how bad a system CPS is, because that's where they're employed. But watch what they do, not what they say. And the same thing goes with a lot of these tech giants.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Want to give your kids or grandkids a summer camp experience they'll never forget? Consider St. John's Northwestern Leadership Academy's summer programs. Nestled in the beautiful Lake Country region of southeast Wisconsin, St. John's Northwestern offers day and boarding camp programs for all ages. Fresh air and physical activity are key ingredients for a rewarding summer experience, and the programs at St. John's Northwestern offer plenty of it. Plus, they add some very important extras: leadership development, team building, and character building. The combination is transformative. Whether you seek a fun day camp, an away-from-home adventure, or academic support over summer break, St. John's Northwestern's got it. St. John's Northwestern Summer Leadership Academies. Leadership lives here. Get more info at 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET. Or online at sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
So another message on this topic of you letting your kids or posting information about your kids on social media. Yeah. So from a friend of mine, she and her husband agreed that I could post pictures of the kids if I was discreet and shared only with a certain group of friends and family. Even still, one time my 10-year-old was walking in downtown Oak Park with some friends. A man came up to her and said, "Are you," and called her by name, "I know your mom from Facebook."
Ew.
And I'm sure it was completely innocent, but it's just...
It's creepy.
Right. It rankles you a little bit, doesn't it?
It's not safe. Hey, our good friend Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, has authored us to make the best offer ever on radio or TV. For a limited time, you can get a 2-pack of premium MyPillows for only $69.98. That's only $34.99 per pillow. Again, that's the lowest price ever offered in the history of MyPillow. So if you've been dragging your feet, get on this. Again, the best offer. And you can still get 30% off pet beds, mattress toppers, and my favorite, the Giza cotton sheets. So act now to get this brand new, absolutely lowest price ever offered for 2 premium MyPillows for only $69.98, or 30% off those pet beds, mattress topper, and the Giza cotton sheets, which come in different colors, different sizes. They're the best. Go to MyPillow.com, use promo code Amy, or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201, or MyPillow.com. Either method, use the promo code AMY.
Message and data rates may apply.
Ever look at your paycheck and think, there's gotta be a better way? Well, here's some news. There is, and I can show it to you. I'm Paula Sajan, star of A&E's hit TV show, Flip This House. My brother and I have taught thousands of people how to start making money in real estate. Now, it's your turn. Next week, we're conducting a free 2-hour educational workshop right here in Chicago, where you'll hear about my proven flipping systems that help you start flipping homes for profit in your spare time using other people's money, and how to get started flipping the script by putting money in your pocket with income opportunities. Real estate is a powerful tool that has made millions of people wealthy, but you can't start making your first dollar until you take your first step. Come to my free workshop and take advantage of this amazing opportunity. It could mean a lifetime of financial security.
To get 2 free tickets to Paul's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 37,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 37,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also reserve a free copy of Paul's Money for Deals guide. Just text your zip code to 37,000.
This is big. Listen up. It's another greatest offer ever, this time coming from Balance of Nature. And you're going to want to take advantage of it because Balance of Nature works. There's no simpler way to say it. Our bodies need fruits and vegetables, and we're not getting enough in our diet. And here's how Balance of Nature works. When you take the recommended 3-capsule dosage, your body receives as much nutrition as it would from eating more than 10 servings of a salad with 31 different fruits and vegetables on top. It's that easy. You hear people talking about Balance of Nature every day on the station, including me. Why? Because it works. So start living a healthier life today by taking Balance of Nature. And here's the deal you need to take advantage of before it's gone. For a limited time, you can receive a 30% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. You have to use the promo code Chicago. So go to balanceofnature.com, discount code Chicago, or call 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot promising further action against one of the police department's top brass. First Deputy Superintendent Anthony Riccio took a trip this month after the mayor issued a mandate ordering no high-ranking officers to take a vacation during the summer months because of it's a time of increased violence.
I actually know him. He is a wonderful person. I met him when he was a foot patrol officer, and he's worked his way up the ranks.
Lightfoot said that the summertime is the most challenging time in our city for public safety, and no one should have taken a vacation. Okay.
Well, then maybe she shouldn't have gone to Oprah's house the other night for dinner.
Well, okay, right, that's fine. So, spending time with Oprah, appearing on Colbert, raising campaign cash in New York. How does that fit into her anti-violence strategy?
Maybe she should stay here, too, if she's going to put that mandate on police officers.
Well, she's the boss. She made a big show of going out on the beat with police in the first weekend after she was inaugurated. So, I mean, you want to issue that directive to senior leadership of the police department? Fine. How about leading by example? When are we ever going to get that in Chicago or Illinois?
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, is the U.S. preparing for war against Iran? We'll ask Cliff May. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Clouds and 57 degrees. Demonstrators in Hong Kong gathering outside the office of the city's leader demanding she step down for the crisis over the highly unpopular extradition bill that has tested the durability of China's promises to respect the former British colony's quasi-autonomy. Mostly young protesters, almost 2 million of them, blocked streets near the city's waterfront as they stood outside Chief Executive Carrie Lam's office, calling her to resign and cancel proposed legislation. Contenders for leadership in Britain's Conservative Party jostling this afternoon for attention as the race narrows there in the contest to seize the mantle of leadership and to challenge frontrunner Boris Johnson in an upcoming vote for Prime Minister. Families of victims, regulators, and airlines have mixed feelings about today's Boeing apology for the 737 MAX crashes that killed 346. Kevin McAllister, the CEO of Boeing's aircraft division at the Paris Air Show, apologized, saying they were sorry for the loss of lives. Also from the Paris Air Show, Airbus dings Boeing by starting a new single-aisle long-range jet, beating Boeing to the market in this category. Authorities say a man has died after a shooting involving a police officer in South Bend, Indiana, the city where Democrat presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg is mayor. Buttigieg changed campaign schedules and is back in South Bend. Actually got there late last night, holding a press conference, updating the department and prosecutors on issues involving that shooting. Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson remains hospitalized after doctors found a small blood clot in his lung during routine testing last Friday. And a priest is reinstated to his church on Chicago's North Side after he was accused of sexually abusing a minor nearly 40 years ago. The Reverend Patrick Lee was removed as pastor in January as officials investigated an abuse allegation dating back to 1979 at a parish in Midlothian. Dodgers beat the Cubs 3-2. Yankees over the White Sox 10-3. Cubs and Sox are off. Cubs will host their crosstown rivals beginning tomorrow night. The News is a service of Napa Auto Parts. This month at Napa Auto Parts stores, get $25 or more off brand new DeWalt power tools by trading in your old ones. Quality parts, helpful people, that's Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer ends June 30th. 8:33, a check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is astonished by Joe Biden.
Can you fathom how desperate you have to be as a presidential candidate who sees your front-running status kind of evaporating? It's like sand through his fingers. And he literally said, when I'm president, we'll cure cancer.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
You've heard of living trusts and how they can help protect your assets, but you may not know if a living trust is right for you, or maybe you have questions about creating your own living trust. The fact is, almost everyone can benefit from a living trust, which can protect your assets from the court system and your loved ones from unnecessary expense and inconvenience. Learn more at a free seminar Monday, June 24th at Papa Joe's Restaurant in Orland Park. Estate planning attorney Robert Zapolis will explain how to create your own living trust, estate planning under the new tax laws, why a will does not avoid probate, and more. Have your estate planning and living trust questions answered absolutely free. Don't miss this important seminar, Monday, June 24th at 6:30 p.m. at Papa Joe's Restaurant, 145th and LaGrange Road in Orland Park. The seminar is free and a complimentary dinner is served, but you must make a reservation now. Call 708-478-1400. Call 708-478-1400. Again, 708-478-1400.
Message and data rates may apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the last time you ever have to worry about hair loss. Because Bosley is the real deal. They're giving women and men their hair back permanently. Their real hair. All it takes to get started is a single text message. You'll get an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card when you text TRUST to 85850. Bosley will show you, for free, how great your hair could look. You'll also see, for free, why you're losing hair and how to get it back. Women and men all over the country trust Bosley because they're America's #1 hair restoration expert. Ahead of the curve with the latest technology. And the best part? Bosley has permanent solutions to hair loss. You'll love what they'll do for your hair. So drop what you're doing long enough to send a text. Get your free information kit and gift card for $250 off by texting TRUST to 85850. Don't forget, that's TRUST to 85850.
A lost dog, not a lost cause. Read Catching Murphy, the latest book from the Associated Press, available now exclusively at Amazon.com.
It is 8:36. In the AM 560 Traffic Center, the latest on the morning roads. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Southbound Tri-State traffic is heavy from 120 to Deerfield Road. Northbound, the delays are from the Stevenson to past the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Eisenhower to Lawrence. Eastbound Adams Tollway traffic, stop and go lead to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway, it's a long jam, 31 to Washington. Northbound Veterans Memorial from Fountain to the Reagan Tollway at Roosevelt to St. Charles. Southbound 53 is tight Palatine to Kirchhoff. Eden's 19 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 31. Kennedy, 48 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, much heavier in the express lanes. Eisenhower, an hour and 2 minutes, 390 to downtown, 42 minutes from Manheim. Stevenson, 57 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. The Ryan, 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next, and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Cloudy skies today will top out at 67, mainly cloudy overnight, 55 for a low temp, 57 right now. Next news at 9, Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. What should President Trump do in response to the Iranian attack on commercial ships in the Straits of Hormuz last week? Here's what Nancy Pelosi had to say during her sit-down with Fareed Zakaria at the Council on Foreign Relations.
The Secretary of State says that the attacks on the two tankers in the around the Straits of Hormuz were Iranian, but done by the Iranian government. Do you think that we are in for a possible military confrontation between the United States and Iran?
Well, I certainly hope not, but we have absolutely no appetite for going to war or to be provocative, to create situations that might evoke responses where mistakes could be made. You know, it's one, countries exercise their leverage, they threaten, they this or that, but there could be mistakes made, and that's a very dangerous thing. And if I just may just go back a little bit, what is his motivation? What is their motivation to be provocative with the Iranians? Why did the president turn his back on the Iranian nuclear agreement? What's the logic except some other issue? That it was negotiated by President Obama. We had so many national security experts, whether they were ambassadors, generals, admirals, and all the rest, supporting the agreement as well. So it had official, diplomatic, national security, technical, nuclear, etc., support along the way. So why? So then he comes in and undoes that, and inflames the U.S.-Iran issue. Why? What is the purpose? And then to I'm not going to accuse anybody of instigating anything, but for not having a policy that would smooth the waters, so to speak. So again, I think he probably knows there's no appetite for war among the American people.
Why isn't President Trump appeasing the mullahs in Iran? I can't figure it out. What's his motivation? Why is he instigating this confrontation with Iran? I'm sorry, wait, who bombed whose ships?
The Iranians said they didn't do it, though.
Yeah, well, they did it. And I'm sorry, what is President Trump's responsibility for the attack on a Norwegian and Japanese tankers, and those two tankers? Trump is instigating something because he didn't go along with President Obama's and the Democrats' nuclear surrender to Iran. Oh, and here's some cash to sweeten the pot. Oh, really? The generals and so on and so forth. Right. The Obama administration apparatchiks supported the surrender to Iran of nuclear weapons, and a lot of other geopolitical thinkers and diplomats and secretaries of defense and military generals did not. Now, Tom Cotton, senator from Arkansas, he wants to go not only further than the rhetorical saber-rattling by the administration in response to this attack. He believes that attack demands a retaliatory military strike. Tom Cotton on Face the Nation.
Well, Iran for 40 years has engaged in this kind of attacks, going back to the 1980s. In fact, Ronald Reagan had to reflag a lot of vessels going through the Persian Gulf and ultimately take military action against Iran in 1988. These unprovoked attacks on commercial shipping warrant a retaliatory military strike.
You're comparing the tanker war in the 80s to now and saying that that's the kind of military response you want to see?
We can make a military response in a time and in a manner of our choosing. But yes, unprovoked attacks on commercial shipping warrant a retaliatory military strike against the Islamic Republic of Iran.
And of course, the Straits of Hormuz is an important shipping lane, thus the tension there, much like it is in the South China Sea with the Chinese. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Clifford May. He's the president of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Cliff, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan. And I mean, I agree with everything you just said, of course.
Well, thank you. Your colleague, Raoul Mark Garrecht, writing in the Wall Street Journal about just exactly the state of Iran, the state of Iran, if you will. Pelosi seems very nervous about Iran. Your colleague says this narrative about Trump's belligerence and Iran somehow being a victim of it misses a key point. Iran is in no shape for a prolonged confrontation with the U.S. The regime is in a politically precarious position. Explain.
Yeah, the regime's economy has been imploding. Huge unemployment, huge inflation. It's in very bad shape. Thanks to the sanctions that were imposed by the Trump administration without European support, we've put significant pressure on the regime, and they're feeling it. People are within the country are tired of being under Islamist rule. It's 40 years now. They know what it means. They have less freedom and less prosperity than they did even under the Shah. And the pressure is working. So the supreme leader, for 20 years, they've only had two supreme leaders. It's a title that means dictator. The supreme leader knows what to do. It's worked in the past. You do an act of terrorism like they've just done. It's the second time in a number of weeks. And you expect that there'll be people like Nancy Pelosi saying it's time to appease them. Let's lift the sanctions. Let's give them some financial reward. Let's give them what they want. We're scared of them. They're not scared of us. So let's see how we can help them. We're talking about a regime that has been for years the world's leading sponsor of terrorism. Their revolution is based on a single phrase, death to America. And Nancy Pelosi doesn't seem to understand any of that. As for the JCPOA, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the Iran deal, it actually gave this regime a path to nuclear weapons over a relatively short period of time. It made sure they wouldn't have nuclear weapons during the Obama administration, but a few years from now, they would have them, as well as missiles, which they're still working on, that could deliver those nuclear warheads to targets anywhere in the world. Nancy Pelosi astonishingly seems to understand none of what I've just said.
Well, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, they asked him, on Fox News, he was on with Chris Wallace, are we preparing for war against Iran? And he said, no, but we're considering a full range of options, including military options. So how many troops do you think we will send over there?
We may have troops in the area, but I doubt we'll use them. Look, between doing nothing, total passivity, and war, there are many, many intermediary steps. That's what Tom Cotton was referring to, what Ronald Reagan did. We didn't have a war with Iran in 1988. What we can do when they do things like this is we can punish them. We can put some of the ships, maybe the vessel they used to retrieve an unexploded mine off one of those ships so we wouldn't have that bit of evidence. We can put those ships, we can target them and put them to the bottom of the harbor. We can take away other of their military capabilities. There are all kinds of things we can do, both on the economic front and on the kinetic front, without going to war, without invading. We don't want to do any of that. I don't think that's not in the cards. But you can say we will not let this kind of terrorism continue with impunity. Or we can say, yes, they get to do it. It's their right. It's their entitlement. They can assassinate people in Europe. They can plot, they didn't succeed, to bomb dissidents who are meeting in Europe. They can try to kill people in restaurants in Georgetown, Washington, as they did a few years ago, and nothing will happen to them because all of that's their right. Or we can say there are red lines. Now, what they really hope is that President Trump will draw a red line and then, like President Obama did, not cross it, showing that the United States is a paper tiger, showing they can do what they want in the region and beyond. That's sort of the strategy of Ayatollah. He also hopes the Europeans will sound like Nancy Pelosi and pressure the U.S. You have to do something. You have to give them something so they don't keep bombing these ships. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most strategic waterways in the world. It is international waters. As long as the U.S. maintains it as international waters, if we don't, the Iranians take it over and it becomes Iranian water, or rather waters of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Nobody else but us has the capability and possibly the will to ensure that that international waters remain international waters. We either do that or we don't.
Continuing on Iran, but also bringing in Russia, the New York Times story over the weekend about the essential cyber warfare the U.S. is engaged in with respect to Russia, targeting its power grid to prevent essentially Russia's cyber meddling in the U.S. elections, and generally it's reminiscent of the highly publicized Stuxnet virus that was used back almost a decade ago to attack an Iranian nuclear facility. What was your read on the story with respect to our cyber warfare with the Russians and the utility of it?
Well, there is a cyber war taking place right now. A lot of people are not even aware that's happening, but it is, and we're not winning at the moment. We have 4 cyber enemies or adversaries that are significant. China is the most, and they steal hundreds of billions of dollars of intellectual property, including defense secrets, including personal information on people in the U.S. government every single year. Then you have Russia, Iran, and North Korea. All of them are competent cyber adversaries. We have to show that there is a price, not just for cyber espionage, but for cyber theft and other dangers, because you could be in a warfare situation and they could have capabilities where they don't need to bomb an aircraft carrier. They just make it go in circles, or they simply cut off all the ATM machines in America suddenly. We have to make sure that we're ahead of them in cyber warfare capabilities. And right now, we're not doing as well as we can. The Russians have been meddling for years with propaganda and agitation. They've been doing it really since the Soviet times, since the 1930s. Now they can do it in cyberspace, which is particularly effective. There has to be a price for it. That price doesn't have to be paid with cyber offensive, although that's one of the options we have. We have to look at the various options we have, and we have to make it clear you don't come into our house and steal our possessions, again, with impunity. This is really what we have to think of. Do we say to our adversaries, tell us what we can do to appease you, and maybe you won't steal so much from us or do us damage, or do we stand up to them and say, you're not going to do this, we're actually stronger than you are?
I wonder if half the reason the New York Times wrote the story was to try to cast the president in a poor light. Of course, the big point of the story, in addition to the cyber warfare the U.S. is engaged with respect to Russia, is that, they're working around President Trump. The senior intelligence officials are working around President Trump for fear that if he knew the details, he would stop the cyber warfare that the U.S. is applying to Russia. Do you find that credible?
No, I don't find that credible. Look, I understand that the president would like to get along well with Russia, with China, with the people of Iran. If not this government, I don't think that's really possible. But I understand the inclination. I don't actually think it works out in the end. Whether it's President Bush, who looked in Putin's eyes and saw a good man, whether it's the reset with Russia, we have to understand that Putin sees the United States as an adversary, and Putin thinks that any way that he can diminish American power makes Russia stronger relatively. There may be some places where we can find common ground, but there are not going to be a lot. And on things like cyber warfare, I think deterrence is what we need. In fact, deterrence is what we need in most cases. If we have effective deterrence, we won't be challenged. If our deterrence is not effective, then they'll say, let's see what we can get away with.
All right, now let's move over to China. Oh, Cliff, if only women ruled the world, everything would be hunky-dory. Like Carrie Lam, the chief executive of Hong Kong, who's the subject of 2 million people taken to the streets of Hong Kong suggesting she resign for, there's this word again, appeasing Chinese communists with respect to a proposed extradition law. Now she's reversing course, trying to save her position. And what are we to make of those protests in Hong Kong, and how much of a problem is it for the Chinese communists in Beijing?
Well, we should support the protests that are taking place in Hong Kong. The people are very brave. Something like a quarter of the population came out because they recognize that their freedom and their way of life is absolutely in danger. When the British turned over Hong Kong to China in 1997, The agreement was there would be one country but two systems. The people in Hong Kong would have their freedom. They'd have capitalism. They'd live as they have, prosperous and free. Now what the Chinese are trying to do is violate that agreement and say, well, anybody we don't like, we can extradite back to China. If that happens, they end up in a kangaroo court and then some prison or re-education camp. Keep in mind the Chinese have 1 million Uyghur Muslims, at least that many, in re-education camps, concentration camps of the sort. Right now, the world doesn't seem to mind very much. So for at least the moment, the Chinese seem to be backing off. They seem not to want what's going on in the streets of Hong Kong to turn into a Tiananmen Square situation. That's where people protested a few years back in China, and thousands, literally thousands, were murdered in the streets. But it's not over yet. But we should all be supporting what the people of Hong Kong are doing, because the Chinese are a neo-imperialist power. They intend to replace the Americans as the global leader. And kudos to Trump, at least for this. He's recognized that China is not liberalizing, moderating, becoming our strategic partner just because we're doing commerce with them. That was a good idea. It was tried. It failed.
He is Cliff May, president of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Cliff, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mark Weingart, President and CEO of Star Creations, Inc., the fastest growing supplier of wall decor products in the U.S. When it comes to banking, I don't want to be a small fish in a big pond. That's why I bank at Signature Bank Chicago. At Signature Bank, every customer is important. I know I can pick up the phone and talk to any one of the decision makers I know and trust at Signature Bank. At Signature Bank, they understand and respond to the unique needs of my business with flexibility and fairness. I'm proud to bank with Signature Bank because I know they're deeply invested in the success of Star Creations.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
When I wasn't taking it and I was waiting for my operation, I was feeling very tired. Now I'm driving like 11, 12 hours a day. I told you I manage 15 gas stations. And I have so much energy. I even gave some of my pills for my son, and he said, Dad, this is good, so I like it. I'm healing so fast. It's like amazing. My family is so surprised because my wound closing up and doing so good. So that is working now that I'm start taking my those fruits and vegetables.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. For a limited time, you can receive a 30% discount and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
When your rug is sick, make the click. ChicagoRugman.com.
You own fabulous